All right. Sorry about that. All right. Sorry about that, Valen. Um, I don't know what the fuck is going on with the StreamYard. They won't even let me play my shit. They won't let me play my opening clips. Hold on a second. Hopefully that's not too much of an echo. They won't let me play it. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't like these upgrades and sorry about that. I don't like these upgrades. Okay. Welcome to the Revolutionary Agenda. I'm your host, Dutchito. Um, yeah, I just got thrown off over here because I was about to play my clips and I guess I can't play them. It's like this, like they just want you to keep making you try to upgrade when you don't fucking want to upgrade. You know what I mean? I think it should be a choice. I don't think you should have to be forced to fucking upgrade when you don't fucking want to. But nonetheless, what's been going on with me? Nothing. Um, Nothing. Really just, I've been over there listening to new black media, so nothing. Been on the same shit y'all have been on. Um, and yeah, I gotta carry on from the show I was doing the other day. A little bit about what I was doing the other day. I guess I was showing some opinionated off brands that were obviously opposition for the Carmelo Anthony case. And I still don't like what the fuck they have to say. But I would have never known that there was all this opposition is somebody to turn me on to that. So um, I have been kind of like listening, and there's some stuff that I really haven't heard too much from New Black Media about it, but assuming we're just going to carry on with our mission, see what happens. I haven't really heard too much about that. They're pretty hot. Nothing really going on. I was kind of mm, just kind of listening to what's been going on with everything really. Um, that might be really interesting in what's been happening in Aurora lately, um, as far as city council. And I think I sweated my brother today. I think that's what happened yesterday. I mean, I'd have been on sooner, but Jesse was doing it for the marathon, so I'm not gonna be on very long, only like a couple hours because he needs his computer back. So yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching the Revolutionary Agenda. Um, like I said, I'm your host, Seduction Doll. Hopefully, there's not too much of an echo from my microphone. Um, I've been playing around with it since I've been sitting over here, and it seems to be okay. What else did I have to say? I had something else to say. I can't remember. I can't remember. So let's get into it. So anyway, I'm gonna start off where I left off. What happened last a couple of days ago was I was showing some reactions to. I'll share some off-brand content, okay? And the internet went out and just kept going, kept dropping me in. And I finally was like, well, fuck it. By the time it dropped me the last time, it was like I had no idea it dropped me. So I believe that's where I left off. So I'm going to go ahead and carry on with my mission. I'm gonna show a couple because the more I listen to them, the more it kind of gives me a fucking headache, and it kind of just seems real like whatever. Um, yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I know the Church of Black Power uh, covered it too. Um, right, here we go. The next couple of videos are off grants. I do not agree with anything they're talking about, but I just wanted to see what they were saying and to show you guys. Yeah.
So Utah and Florida just passed bills to ban fluoride in the water supply. Why are these states suddenly doing a major, massive U-turn on fluoride when they've been adding this to our water for over 80 years? Well, RFK has been warning us about fluoride for a while, and the government now admits to the fact that fluoride is linked to low IQ. In a study done by JAMA Pediatrics, one of the top medical journals, scientists found that fluoride levels over 2 milligrams per liter of water causes more than a 2-point drop in children's IQ scores. My wife Corinne and I have 2 young boys, and this is exactly why we love Cove Pure and their pure water. You've heard me talk about Cove Pure before. It's a water filtration system that sits on the countertop. You don't have to drill holes or call a plumber to set it up. You just fill it with tap water, plug it in, and get straight to work. Their ClearWave reverse osmosis technology is lab certified to remove up to 99.9% of impurities in your water. Anything that isn't water, meaning fluoride, arsenic, and forever chemicals, all gets filtered out, leaving you with pure water. So breaking news, and I think to a certain degree is going viral online, and is that Carmelo Anthony's track meet footage has been released, but only to a certain group of people. And they articulate what they saw in the video. Roll the clip.
Frisco ISD is releasing surveillance video of the stabbing at the track meet that led to the death of a student back in April, but only under very strict conditions. So through open records, they will allow whoever requests it to view that video, but no recording whatsoever is allowed. On that note, we sent our IT producer, Kelsey Mittauer, to watch that video. She joins us now in studio to walk us through what you saw. We're going to go in order here in just a second, Kelsey. But in general terms, what did the video depict? What did you see?
It shows everything from the moments leading up to the stabbing, to the medical response, to then the beginning of the police investigation.
Okay, and it lasted several minutes is what they showed you.
It did, about 30 minutes.
Okay, so let's start in the beginning now and talk a little bit about what you saw at the front end of that video, because you got to see the attack, the actual stabbing
right.
took place.
So it starts, I started watching about 9:53. The camera shows half of the field. So it's about from the 50-yard line on, and the tent where it happened was kind of right in front of the 50-yard line, but the camera is down here. Okay. It's positioned across the field. So everybody in the video, you can tell they are kids or adults, but no one's identifiable.
So a long shot is what
a long shot, yeah.
So a couple of minutes in, and you actually see the altercation take place.
Yes, everything leading up to it, everyone's milling about. It seems very normal, and then right at 9:55, that's when like there's this explosive movement or action between two people under the tent, and that's when the employees in the room told me that's when the stabbing happened at 9:55.
Right, and you were talking about people kind of start to scatter at that moment. Obviously, something went wrong. And so what happens next? Because now, a little bit later on, that's when the ambulance shows up.
Right. So when the ambulance arrives, it actually comes through near the end zone at the gate, and then it comes up to the 50-yard line directly in front of the tent. You can see Austin Metcalf is right here. But then when they pull up close to the tent, they realize that they can't get the stretcher to him because of the barrier of the bleachers. So at that point, then the paramedics have to get out, and then they have to walk all the way back to the end zone. This is actually, yeah, on the next slide. They have to go all the way back to the end zone and then come all the way back. That takes another couple of minutes. So at this point, they've arrived and they are actively working on Metcalf at that point.
And we want to reiterate, we're using some imagery here to sort of denote exactly what was happening here, these little icons that were using the ambulance, because again, the video was not able to be released. You're watching all of this happen, Kelsey, and you're watching the time sort of elapse. What are you thinking about when you see this, especially when you see sort of the issues in getting Metcalf out of there?
I mean, you know, I understand why it happened the way it happened. They were still working on him, actually. The thing that really struck me is they're working on him, and that's when you see the rain's coming down heavier, and then they actually pull out the blue tarp.
The blue tarp that we saw.
Right, and then I noticed the crime scene tape is already up. I was so focused on here, I didn't even see that, but they're building the crime scene actively around him as they're continuing to work on him in the bleachers.
So that
Here
was
we go. Let's
still
talk
there.
about this. Let's talk about this real quick. I think it's time for me to interject and get some things established. So with the video footage that have been articulated, it sounds consistent. Now, she's not saying a lot. The video footage doesn't seem like it's the end all be all. I'm pretty sure witness statements are going to be more pertinent than a grainy video footage. But what I think it will show, that's going to be a very big burden for the defense, is that they're going to have to show through the video evidence that there wasn't on news and lie, because they'll get sued, the Sox will get sued off, that they're saying that it does not appear to be a brawl, or it does not appear to be a mob attack.
That boy going
Carmelo
to jail.
Anthony's going to go to jail.
Carmelo going to jail. Because listen, you cannot bring a weapon to school.
Yeah.
So you can't say I was
What if he says, but what if he says self-defense? Like,
There's no self-defense, because if you are afraid the day before, where you have to take a weapon to school, why not notify your parents? Parents, you notify the school teacher. School teacher that's bringing these kids in here and resolve this issue is called conflict resolution. We was taught in homes that has morals and values, you tell the teacher. Somebody you tell the teacher, let the teachers know, so when y'all have an altercation, you're cleared and you're covered. Documentation beats conversation. So words of documentation just say this is self-defense. It's a premeditated crime because you took a weapon in fear, anticipating to use it.
that was premeditated, though.
And it's at a track meet. You getting ready to run track with other kids and you got a knife on you. No, man, you got to go to jail. You got to go. There's no so when is it all right to kill the bully? I don't give a what the bully did. He don't have a right to die.
No.
Man, you weak man. That's why I say teach the kids how to deal with bullies, and this won't happen. We're all not equal. Even in nature, you can be feeding a flock of birds. There's gonna always be one bird to come in and take the food from the. This is nature. You cannot get rid of bullies. Teach the kids how to deal with them. Bullies build character. You go to work, it's gonna be a bully supervisor, a bully co-worker. You cannot get rid of the bully. Teach our children conflict resolution. Everything don't have to end in violence. But when you come from the black culture, everything is disputed in violence.
Yeah. That is the problem, though. That's how
it's the culture.
That's the culture, is that's how they solve. When you have a serious issue, they don't even contemplate trying to talk it out.
We teach a no snitching rule, right? So our kids are walking around with these mafia rules, codes, and ethics of the streets that's held over children about no snitching. So now I have to take a weapon because I don't want to be a snitch and kill another kid. Oh, it's a simple solution.
Because it's a major enemy to our people. Then you talking shit about our culture because in front of a white man, and you get him to add his 2 motherfucking cents into it. You a real villain, because he is like, oh my god, straight treasonous type behavior.
Go tell the teacher. Tell your parents.
Now, when it comes to the ambulance working on somebody, I would argue that a medical personnel jumped up into the stands and began CPR as they get the stretcher to come around and get Austin Metcalf. Also, the reason that they put crime scene tape up is because they probably knew that Austin Metcalf had already died. Like, this is one thing I think people have to understand, because there's legitimate protocol that you have to do, although do you know that there's an end result. Like, for instance, you don't stop doing CPR on somebody just because they die, if that makes sense, right? Until you can get them to a medical facility where they could possibly be reassessed and there could be life-saving measures. If a person is completely dead and they're ruled dead at the scene and there's absolutely nothing you can do to save them, then they will leave the body at the scene, tarp the body, and create crime scene tape. The medical staff will leave and the coroner will come and get the body later after they process the scene and recreate the scene and everything else. But in a situation like Austin Metcalf, him being a young man, just because he goes unconscious or his heart stopped beating doesn't mean that they're not going to continue to do CPR on him, and does not mean that they're not going to try to transport him to see if they can save his life at the hospital. Therefore, it would be reasonable that he had already died at the track. He probably went unconscious. His heart stopped beating because he got stabbed in the heart, and he was completely dead. He died in his brother's arms. He was laying there. But they're not going to just let him. They're going to try to do some form of CPR on him until they can assess the issue at a hospital. So the reason why they may have been putting up the crime scene tape and putting the tarp over, because they pretty much knew he was dead. And they want to prepare for a murder scene. And they had to go through the rigmarole of, trying to save him and putting him in the ambulance and pronouncing him dead at the hospital. So just so you guys know, because it does seem to be odd that they did all this and all that, and they put the tarp up and everything, but the kid is still kind of alive. It's like, no, I have been to cases and scenes like that before where we got to do our due diligence and try to do the best that we can, but we do know the person is gone. And there's probably no way of saving a person, right? Like, for instance, I had a guy it was a drug deal gone bad, which we found out later on. It was the most mysterious scene I've ever seen in my life because we had no idea why we were seeing what we were seeing. And I'll just give you a quick rundown. Maybe you can put me full screen. I'll just give you a quick rundown because I think it's pertinent, and some of y'all may find this interesting. This is the wildest call I've ever been on in my life. So what happened on this call was that we got a report of a man walking down the street with a gun. And so in Arizona, you can carry a gun if you want to. So it's like, what's the harm in that? We'll go check it out and see what's going on. But then when we get a little closer to the scene, and this is in a community where they don't call the police. They call it the village. It's a bunch of Native American people, and they hate the police. So they'll never call. I don't care if you died, they won't call. So the fact that somebody called a man walking down the street with a gun was suspicious a little bit. So we wanted to respond. And then they said the man is now parked in a car in the front of our house with a gun in his hand, with a gun. And so now he's a threat to the public. Everything goes off. We got 100 cops flying to the scene. We getting out with AR-15s. We going up, we see the truck with all the doors open, and then when we get to the truck, we clear the truck, right? And then we clear the area, nothing is going on. The people in the house haven't come out. Nobody knows what's going on. We're like, how's this truck just sitting here? And then we noticed the guy in the front seat had got shot in the head, and he was literally coagulated blood. He had been sitting there for a period of time. So they didn't even call when he got shot and killed. So then that's when the crazy stuff happened. We couldn't rescue him. We had to use a dog leash to try to get him. He had blood all over his body. He slipped out of all his clothes. Blood all over my shoes, brain matter on my face because I had to throw him on the gurney, which was an impossibility. Only by the grace of God I can get him up there because he was about 250, 280 pounds. The firefighters, they parked down the street, but they run the gurney. We had to go get the gurney and run it up a half a block because they can't enter into an active crime scene or like an active scene. So we didn't know how to lower the gurney. So the gurney is like about 3 feet tall, 4 feet tall, maybe 3 or 4 feet tall. And this guy's covered in blood, so we can't grab him. I can't grab his body because it's slippery. We're using a dog leash because one of the K9 unit guys came and helped, and the only way we can get him is try to wrap his upper body in dog leash and pick his body up and throw him on a thing. Well, you can only imagine that nobody could do it but me. And the guy weighs like 280 pounds. So only by the grace of God, I could lift his body up just enough to get him under my knee, and I flipped him up on the gurney. But when I flipped him up, his head went forward and went back like this. But when his head went forward, some of his brain matter hit me in the face and blood got on like around my mouth. It was disgusting. Some of it got on my badge and it was terrible. But anyway, saying all this to say, he was pretty much dead, right? He had lost a third of his brain matter because he got shot in the side of the head and some of his brains was on the back seat. And, so it was clear that he was dead, but we still had to do everything we can to try to save his life. So we did all that. Then we had to run a half a block with the gurney, with him halfway on the gurney, because I couldn't get him all the way on the gurney. I just got his upper body on the gurney. So we running with the gurney. His legs are hanging off the gurney. His upper body's on the gurney. I'm holding him. We still don't know who shot him and where the shooters are at. And we run him down there to the fire department. Something sensitive mean to do it. I had blood all on my face, brain matter parts. And I was worried about blood getting in my mouth because I don't know if the guy have hepatitis or AIDS and so I just remember getting there and I'm like, my face, like somebody like wipe my face off. And they were like, can you wait? We're kind of busy here. Like we try to save this guy's life. He got shot in the head. And then, after that, I realized that, oh crap, that does make sense. I do need to kind of pipe down a little bit. But I ended up wiping my face off and I had to go home and change my blood. My uniform was covered in blood. And then I went to another call with a grandma. And grandma wanted me to swipe for.
Just tell me about what happened today. I don't know. I got a phone call from Hunter. He was screaming that Austin had been stabbed. I was at work And so I drove, I work in Grapevine, so I drove up to the hospital straight away. I actually beat the ambulance there. Yeah, I saw them have him come out. He was on a lot of machines, and it didn't take long for them to come in to say that he had passed. So, not sure, senseless act of a boy that was in the wrong tent, and my son doing the right thing by telling that boy that he needed to be removed from where he was, and just doesn't make any sense. I mean, that's my just because the kid was mad, my son is not here anymore, and I don't understand it.
You know, there's this really sad movie called $1 Million Baby. It's with Clint Eastwood and some other girl, and it's a female boxer, and she's fighting and she's winning and she's growing in popularity, and she almost has the chance. She lives in a poor environment. She almost has the chance to make it big and go really big, but she hits this opponent that she's clearly beating. The fight's about to be over. She's kicking this opponent's ass. And the opponent turns around and hits her off guard. She falls and she breaks her neck. And she turns into a vegetable for the rest of her life. Horrible movie. I advise you go watch it. But I feel like that really shows you how dangerous someone could get when they start losing. When someone starts to lose, and they, especially people who are not used to losing, people who are used to always coming out on top, when that comes to be a reality for some of these people, they can't handle it and they lash out. That's why they say a cornered animal is the most dangerous. You know what I mean? And this is what's happening with the whole Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony situation, because now we have a situation where supporters are now becoming the aggressors. The supporters are now going out and committing crazy crimes because, ladies and gentlemen, the same woman who was on the camera, Miss Megan Metcalf, has now been swatted along with Jeff Metcalf again. And I feel like that's crazy, but it's the same behavior that you get out of people who are clearly losing in an argument. And this is not even a life or death situation. This is something to where it's like you're losing an argument online that was clearly the wrong side of the argument. Now you're so mad that you just want to attack the family, basically. And you know, Jeff Metcalf has been swatted with illegal fireworks. People are getting drunk. They're arresting people, taking them to jail all day. It's a hectic day for the police on the 4th of July. Anybody who's in law enforcement could tell you that was swatted again. On Thursday night, Jeff Metcalf was also swatted for the 5th time. Now, I feel like the people who are doing this is strategic because the 4th of July is coming around. Everybody's getting ready to get drunk. I feel like the police press day, Megan Metcalf was swatted again. On Thursday night, Jeff Metcalf was also swatted for the 5th time. Now, I feel like the people who are doing this is strategic because the 4th of July is coming around. Everybody's getting ready to get drunk. I feel like the police presence is a lot more there. Like if you get a call during this time, the police are going to respond heavily. And I think that's what the person's aiming for. They want a heavy response. And the reason they want that is because the whole reason that you swat somebody is, one, maybe you want to annoy a certain streamer or a YouTuber and make fun of them, right? But two, it's typically malicious intent. They want somebody to accidentally get shot, stunned. They want somebody to get tackled, beat up, broken nose. That's what the more malicious people want. They want you to get swatted because when that happens, the police have to respond. And I see a lot of like dead brain people on Twitter like, ooh, the police should know that they're being swatted and they shouldn't come and they shouldn't show up. Ladies and gentlemen, come on. Use your brains. You know what I mean? The police have to show up. Even if they know 100% this call is fake, they have to show up and do a welfare check at the very least. And that's what they were doing. They're sending out smaller squads to do welfare checks because they know this is happening. So the police station does know. But I feel like the whole intent of this was to do it closer to a time where it's the holiday and the police are on high alert. And that's crazy. So for those of you guys who do not know what swatting is, let's just go to a definition real quick so that we all know and we're all on the same page, right? Swatting is the action or practice of making a prank call to an emergency service in an attempt to bring out the dispatch of a large number of armed police officers to a particular address. Now, specifically, we want to point out armed police officers. We want this to be a problem. The police, we want the adrenaline spiking through the veins of the police officers because that's the whole fun about it. That's the whole fun. And to be honest, I feel like this should be a serious felony. Swatting should be, I mean, it should start at 10 years, in my opinion, to be real. It should be one of those things to where it's like, oh, you can't do that. It needs to be a taboo thing that you can't even think of doing, or else you get crazy consequences because what the fuck? People get killed over this shit. People get shot, people get beat up. This shit is bad. It's not good because, and we all know about police and how they could be narrow-minded and how some things didn't have to go the way that they needed to go. We don't know what is in the mind of the police officer coming into that call. He could be on full-on Rambo mode, John Wick mode, ready to shoot this whole bitch up because he's going home alive. And then you just call that there's fucking 3 hostages locked up in the house, strapped up to a bomb or something. You see what I'm saying, right?
No, I don't really.
So, you know, I feel like this family is really coming into the crosshairs of all the backlash of winning an argument. Everybody knows Carmelo Anthony is going to go to jail. All the supporters got embarrassed. And you know, there's a creator that I think draws a good parallel to this. Now wait, hold on. I know y'all enjoying the video. You guys having a good time, writing your comments, doing your laughs. But if you support this channel, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, and make sure you named Joe Rogan, who exposed him for not being natural, and he was fake natural, and that was his entire brand, right? There was a video or a documentary that came out about the Liver King, about his whole fake natural empire that he built, and he's on steroids, and he's been lying to his followers. That made that man snap. And he wanted to literally hurt Joe Rogan. He was hunting the man down. Mind you, this is something that happened months and months, maybe even up to a year earlier. But that one thing made him snap because he knew he lost overall. He was a loser, and then he became dangerous. That's the exact same thing with the Carmelo Anthony supporter group. They got humiliated. That's the biggest thing right there. They got humiliated. Humiliation will make people do the craziest things. I promise you that. And that's what these people are doing. They were humiliated because they gave hundreds and hundreds, even sometimes thousands at a time toward Carmelo Anthony just for his family to say thank you and piss it all into the wind. I'm talking, bro, listen, I know that money was good too. The takeout orders, they probably were eating out every night. They probably brought some food home for Carmelo's bitch ass because he's on house arrest. Oh, they used that money. So now after all this humiliation has taken place, now they want to strike out and hit the poor mother who lost her child, bro. And I promise you, if that happens to any one of y'all, you guys would be furious. But anyways, folks, just a little quick update. There's a lot more files that's going to be released about Carmelo Anthony, so we're just waiting on that. So stay tuned for that. And look out for a P. Diddy repost that we did. I didn't repost it for the main viewers on the channel, so I'm also going to drop that in the morning tomorrow. And a lot more news to come, folks. So stay inside, stay safe. I appreciate y'all for dropping in. Have a great day. Peace.
Nothing serious. Well, my own friends is looking.
Hey yo, that boy Austin is dead. You're trying to find out. I'll put one through your head. Bam! Now you in timeout. Yo.
Listen, I'm sure everybody watching this video right now has been in some type of an argument that is absolutely unbeatable. You might as well go outside and scream at the buildings and the animals because at least that might have more of a chance of doing something back, right? There's always that one person. It doesn't matter how many facts you give them. It doesn't matter how logical you become. It doesn't matter. They want to be right. And even when they're faced with facts, they'll just come back and say, nah, that's AI. Nah, that's false. Nah, the source is bad. And this is the exact situation that's going on with the Carmelo Anthony crew. It's getting bad. They have now resorted, and I'm not talking about the family, I'm talking about the supporters, the most outrageous group of people I've seen in a long time. Just willingly blind. These supporters are now just creating anything they can to try to make Jeff Metcalf look like a bad person. They said, you know what, fuck it. Drew Anthony, Carmelo Anthony, they seem like some shitty people, and we can't really get around that. Let's try and make the Metcalf family look like shitty people, right? There's a whole bunch of misinformation flooding the internet, and we're going to take it one by one, starting with an arrest picture of quote unquote Jeff Metcalf circulating and a whole bunch of other things. Apparently, Jeff Metcalf went into a TikTok live like Drew Anthony did. Apparently, Jeff Metcalf went into a TikTok live and started terrorizing all the black people in there. One thing I will say, everything that's going on right now, do you really think that Jeff Metcalf is joining TikTok lives talking about black folks? I honestly don't think so. You let me know for yourself in the comments. Let's go ahead and check this thing out. And there's a lot more information that we got to cover. Let's do this thing. All right, so the first thing we need to do, there's this account called I Exposed R Words and Pedos, right? Apparently, he posted this information about Jeff Metcalf. Now, it says, if you want to verify this, go to the website and pay for the background check and see yourself, right? We open this up, and supposedly this is Jeff Metcalf's record. Now, they show a few things. They show speeding, okay? They show a bunch of other stuff, misdemeanors. But then it goes down and it shows us a very big thing. It says June 2014, 2011, released from prison, sexual A-word. Now I was like, whoa, okay, what's going on? Now, if you guys remember, this picture has been circulating for months and it's been debunked by multiple channels saying that it's fake. If you look at it, it's clearly not connected to the file being shown. Somebody got this picture and posted along a supposed Freedom of Information request. This is 100% false. And on top of this, what really defeats this entire claim for me is that I searched the name and I did my own research looking for anything that resembled this picture and the name Jeff Metcalf, and nothing at all popped up. The only thing that I was able to find, and this is why the account is important, I Expose R Words and Pedos. The only thing that I was able to find relating to this image was this account. Now, this is something that was posted months ago, okay? Like 4 or 5 months ago. And if you notice, the same watermark for I Expose R Words and Pedos is on this. This is the only thing. When I searched, I spent about an hour and a half just trying to find anything that would relate to this. The only thing that relates to this is that account. Now, you might go and say, well, maybe this account is the only one that found it first. No, listen, nobody else confirms this. Everybody else who's even seen this denounces it. But let's get even deeper, right? So we find the source of who's been posting this, right? And if you go to his profile, I'm not even going to really open the profile and go through it because it's nothing but straight racism. Everything the man posts is actual racism, but there's a reoccurring theme underneath this profile. Now, I'm not going to say this is true because I don't know, and I don't follow absolute dumb profiles like this. Like, first and foremost, look at the symbol. The one reoccurring thing about this channel is something very interesting that I want to show you. This image pops up every single time. I'm talking like, if you go throughout his channel, if you actually go through any of the posts that I Expose Racist and Pedos post, this will be a common reoccurring post that everybody puts underneath this channel. Apparently, something happened to where this man was exposed to be the one who runs the account, and he actually has charges against little people, little young girls and boys. You know, it almost seems like projection. It's kind of ironic that his channel is I Expose Racist and Pedos and you're a fucking pedo yourself. Now, again, this is all alleged, but I've seen this image pop up at least 14 times throughout his channel. So something must have happened when I wasn't around where he was exposed for it. It says, Daywan Kenneth Moore, male 37, 155 pounds, 6 foot. Frequent address, blah, blah, blah. Alias known as DJ Kenneth Moore, DJ Juan, Kenneth Moore, all these other things. Convictions, 2017 child molest, you finish the word. That's crazy. So meanwhile, you have this guy trying to pull Jeff Metcalf into his pool. This man is literally, if it's accurate, whoever's running this channel is trying to pull Jeff Metcalf into his own disgusting pool. They're like basically trying to say, well, if Drew Anthony's a bad father, look at Jeff. He's a bad father too. Listen, it doesn't work like that, bro. That's actually insane, but it gets even worse. Let's move forward. So now that we have a background to this actual username, this person, we can now start to connect all the misinformation that's been going around. Because remember, like I said, that picture, that only goes back to this account. And all the other TikTok stuff, and the guy who about to beat up that dude, the fake witness, all of it's starting to seem like it's coming from this account. We go to a TikTok. Now, apparently, there's all these black creators. Seemed like there was a couple white creators, just a mixed bag people in TikTok, and they're discussing the situation with apparently Jeff Metcalf. So Jeff Metcalf just lost his son, grieving, going through all this shit. Apparently, gone to a TikTok live, and somebody was able to record it, and he's just using slur after slur, just whipping that shit out like crazy, spraying everybody with the slurs. My opinion, this is definitely something to rile up the folks. Like I said, everybody knows Carmelo Anthony is wrong at this point. The people who supported, the people who continue to post all this bullshit, and now they're just trying to make the other side look just as bad. We've come into a shift of focus, and now our sole focus is just to make the other family look just as bad, so nobody cares anymore. It's crazy. I believe that this is a fake account, and we have a lot of good AI voice changers, and I think somebody's just trying to get some more steam behind the cause. But anyways, let me shut up and let me show you what was said on the video, and it's pretty fucking crazy. I'm gonna have to bleep some of it.
If someone touches your arm, does that justify you stabbing them in the arm?
In a hostile situation where someone walks up to me, with
Answer the
four
question,
people,
yes or no. Does it
I'm answering your
justify it?
question. That's not the situation.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. You walked
Yeah,
up the whole
dude,
totality of the situation.
He touched him.
Your
Does
four boys
that
walked up on me
justify?
and,
Okay, man, I'm done. Fuck off. Next.
Man, you fuck off. Yeah, you disrespect
Dude,
us.
why don't you go fucking shit long?
The real, do you have a question or comment?
Yeah, Jeff Metcalf, you're a racist ass prick.
Fuck you, fucking whore, bitch.
Yeah, you heard that for yourself, just me.
He said, fuck you, bloody, 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 blinkety, blank, bloop, blop. Crazy, right? Now, I'm going to play that one more time, but I just want you to listen to the voice. Jeff Metcalf speaks with a certain stutter in his voice. And what made me feel like this is possibly a troll or somebody who made this account trying to rile up just this whole anger again is because the list doesn't really sound like it lines up with how Jeff Metcalf speaks. Now, this is something for you guys to say in the comments. Do you think this is a real account? Do you think that was actually Jeff who just wanted to come into a room? How much people are watching? 300. Do you think this was Jeff Metcalf who wanted to come in a room full of 360 people on TikTok and discuss with people he doesn't know about his son? I really don't see that being possible, but who knows? Who knows? You guys let me know what you think about that. But I want you to pay attention to the list. But it sounds to me like someone
touched him. Does that justify? Okay, man, I'm done. Fuck off. Next person.
Man, you fuck off. Yeah, you disrespect.
Dude, why don't you go to fucking just somewhere where you belong?
The real, do you have a question or comment?
Yeah, Jeff Metcalf, you're a racist ass prick.
Fuck you, fucking bitch.
Yeah, you heard that for yourself, just me.
So again, I'm kind of like,
about all that. So you know that the big controversy was if they had been spending the money. You know what I mean? That had been the big controversy. So I'm gonna read. Actually, I'm not gonna read it. I'll let it play. Because according to this, they didn't yet. Like nothing's happened with that. Okay. This is from Fox Sports. Let's see. Okay. See it? Okay. And it was published in April. So all this shit is kind of old, right? But it seems to be relevant now all of a sudden again. So here we go.
Stabbing, but also claims it was in self-defense. The campaign has not yet reached its $600,000 goal,
Sorry, I got
which
kicked
was
out the
pushed up
studio
on Tuesday
as
from
per
a previous
usual.
$525,000 goal. So the funds have not been paid out to the family. GiveSendGo co-founder Jacob Wells told Fox News Digital that his company has a team that is communicating with the Anthony family about the campaign. Carmelo Anthony family's plans for $500,000 donations after track meet stabbing revealed by fundraising exec. Exclusive. The family of Texas teen Carmelo Anthony has been at the center of national media in recent weeks after the 17-year-old allegedly stabbed another boy to death at a track meet in Frisco on April 2nd. Since the incident, Anthony's family has raised more than $515,000 on the crowdsourcing platform GiveSendGo. The Carmelo Anthony Help Fund has become one of the most discussed fundraising campaigns in recent weeks, collecting $500,000 for a suspect who has reportedly said, "I did it," about the stabbing, but also claims it was in self-defense. The campaign has not yet reached its $600,000 goal, which was pushed up on Tuesday from a previous $525,000 goal. So the funds have not been paid out to the family. GiveSendGo co-founder Jacob Wells told Fox News Digital that his company has a team that is communicating with the Anthony family about how they plan on using the money once received. They've been very clear that the vast bulk of this money is going to be used for Carmelo's legal defense, Wells said, later adding. They indicated that some of it will be used to provide them some security, some much-needed security. Wells also said, and then also, a secure location for them to live. They were renting before, and they're continuing to rent. So it's like, okay, $3,000 a month for the next year and a half. Wells declined to reveal anything more specific than that. Fox News Digital has reached out to the family's attorney and spokesperson, Next Generation Action Network, NON, President Dominique Alexander, for comment. The fundraiser's page description has been changed since it first went live. The fundraiser's purpose currently reads, "While legal defense is a critical part of this journey, we want to make it clear that this fund is not solely dedicated to legal expenses. The funds raised will also support a range of urgent and necessary..."
Charleston. Now, I don't know if Charleston is getting this information from Drew. me, but I am not afraid.
Location of the Anthony family due to escalating threats to their safety and well-being, as well as basic living costs, transportation, counseling, and other security measures. The page previously did not disclose the purpose of the funds. We sent an email out to everyone that donated because there was some confusion at the beginning about whether this one was specifically a legal defense fund or whether it was open for other things. Well said. They did update their campaign to say, hey, here's some of the things that we'll be spending money on. And we sent an email out to everyone who had donated saying, make sure that you read. If you have any questions now about their updated statements as far as use of funds, then you're welcome to ask for a refund. And 0 people responded saying, I want my money back. Wells added that if a campaign's funds were being used to purchase something that was not properly represented on the fundraiser page, it would be a violation of the company's policy and grounds for removal. Wells says he has taken down another fundraiser on his site for fraudulently raising money for travel expenses while the organizer intended to use the money to buy a gun. However, he specified that is not the case with the Anthony Fund. Anthony was recently moved from his home to an undisclosed location to ensure his immediate safety following an alarming increase in death threats, continued harassment, and physical intimidation targeted at the family's home, Nunn said in a statement last week. According to the release, the threats included people loitering and taking photos of the Anthony family's current residence, unwanted food deliveries that Nunn said were made to disturb and harass the family, and a mailing of Metcalf's obituary to the home, which was also described as disturbing. We are sharing images and documentation of the threats the family has faced this past weekend to make the public aware of the dangerous atmosphere that has been created, an atmosphere fueled by organized hate, systemic racism, and intentional misinformation, the group said. Anthony was released from the Collin County Jail after his bond was reduced from $1 million to $250,000 last Monday. He is charged with first-degree murder. Meanwhile, the Metcalf family have been victims of swatting in recent weeks, the Frisco Police Department previously confirmed. Swatting is when a 911 call is made, usually to report a fake violent crime, to get police and sometimes even SWAT teams to respond to the address given by the caller. Anthony reportedly confessed to stabbing Metcalf when he was arrested by a school resource officer at Kuykendall Stadium in the minutes following the attack. When one officer told another that he had the alleged stabbing suspect in custody, Anthony apparently said, "I'm not alleged. I did it," according to the arrest report from the incident. Anthony also asked the officers if Metcalf was going to be okay and asked if what happened could be considered self-defense. Follow Fox News Digital's sports coverage on X and subscribe to the Fox News Sports Huddle newsletter.
See? All this shit talking for nothing. All these motherfuckers got nothing but shit to talk. And nothing's really happening except what they said they're doing, which is pretty much the right thing. And there you have it from the article is based on what the owner of or the creator of Give Send Go booking said. You know what I mean? He looked into it. So and nobody wants that attached to where it's something else. So all this other shit, like these off-brands that are speaking against it, speaking against Carmelo, some bullshit, man. Like, you really can see they have nothing better to do. But I'm gonna get into this one because this one sounds pretty far-fetched too. This is the last one I'm gonna play because I can't stand to list the off-brands. Let's see.
This statement by Charleston White, started by Carmelo Anthony's dad, all the messy details that have been going on behind the scenes, alleged. So how did we even get here? You know what I'm saying? How did we even get to the point of Sarah Fields revealing that Drew Anthony...
I'm gonna tell you what, man, I would never have came across this unless me and my damn brother weren't arguing for like 9 motherfucking hours, and he was like, just watch. I was like, I can't believe I did it.
Was even attacking her in her DMs, because apparently this has been happening for a while. So it all starts from this one account called I Expose R-Words and Pedos, right? We've covered this account before. We've covered the history of the person who possibly runs it. It's a grimy, disgusting individual who mainly posts misinformation. But it got a response because he was directly calling out Sarah Fields before he blocked her. So let's read the original post. It says, "New, Charleston White apologizes to Carmelo Anthony after meeting his family and says he will beat all charges. He also claims that Austin Metcalf allegedly assaulted his own father, breaking his arm. Additionally, White accuses racist influencer Sarah Censored of being the reason Carmelo Anthony's family had to move, alleging she exposed their home address and they were receiving information from staff inside the Collin County court system. Okay, so number one, yes, she was receiving information from the Collin County court system. It's called freedom of information. Now, this is a really big claim, and apparently this is a claim that Charleston White had put forward as well, claiming that Sarah Fields actually doxed the Anthony family, just like how people are doxing the Metcalf family. Apparently, it's Sarah Fields is the one that's doing this. So clearly that prompted a response, right? And this is where we get into all the messy details that have been going on behind the scenes, allegedly, right? So let's move forward. She reposts this, and I found it weird that I Exposed Pedos and Racists blocked her after making that post to let her respond, right? Don't post and then block her. But anyway, she responds by screenshotting that post. She says, "Unfortunately, this account has blocked me, so I can't respond directly. My reporting is backed on documentation and receipts, all publicly accessible through Freedom of Information Acts. Additional reporting comes from police reports and public court records." And that's what we're all going by. Exactly. Like, you know, we all go to Sarah Fields because she drops it first, but we can all do this ourselves. Well, I mean, if you want to spend a little extra coin for it as well. So this is not something that she's like, ooh, secretly grabbing. Number one, we could at least clear that up. So this statement by Charleston White, started by Carmelo Anthony's dad, Drew Anthony, is an outright lie. No evidence has been shown for these ludicrous claims. I have never made my reporting a race issue, but one of a character. Drew Anthony sent me terrible Facebook messages, often incessantly at night. I threatened to release them publicly if he didn't stop, and he finally did. So one thing I want to point out right there, there's a lot of claims being thrown around the internet right now. We got Charleston White relaying the Drew Anthony message that she's the one that doxed him, right? We got two sides now. Now we got Sarah Fields over here claiming that he's sending horrible messages to her. And also that claim was a lie, is what she's saying. Both of these people, I feel like, have the ability to release some information to prove their claim. Drew Anthony, you're out there, she's out here doxing you. Don't tell Charleston White, post it on your Facebook. Post the proof on your Facebook. Why are you telling Charleston White for him to go around the internet to rile up some stir? Post it on your Facebook. And then on the same side, Sarah Fields, I know the messages might be dirty, nasty, disgusting, but if you're making a claim like that, I believe that it's only right to drop the text messages as well, because that'll make your side look so much stronger. So now we have two people going back and forth. But the craziest thing, we all come back to it, Drew Anthony's the one that's supposed to be quiet. Sarah Fields is out here doing her job. She's going to post. She's going to respond. She's going to do all that stuff. You know, she's a reporter. It still baffles me that Drew Anthony is responding in this type of a way. You're going to send her mean messages because she's talking shit about your son? That's her job. Your job is to keep your son out of jail. The fuck are you doing? Now, all I can say that...
Yeah, he's just indicted.
Oh, I was all the way wrong about that.
In public,
Keep in mind,
please show me. This is a
direct
direct attack on my accurate reporting of the Metcalf family, and it's disturbing.
Carmelo and
The Anthony family and Dominique have worked hard to silence me, but I am not afraid and have done nothing wrong. Also, his name is Carmelo with a K, not Carmelo with a C. Because the Carmelo Anthony with a C plays basketball and doesn't stab people. So it's Carmelo with a K. Get that right, because I'm pretty sure Carmelo with a C would be very mad to have his name wrapped up with this bullshit. But anyways, let's move forward to Charleston White and what he had to say, because there's a whole snippet going around about how he feels so strongly that Carmelo Anthony's going to get out of this situation. Which to me, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much of a chance of that, but let's go ahead and check this out.
I want to take the time to apologize to Carmelo Anthony's family. Man, I was all the way wrong about that kid.
I was always wrong about that kid, homie.
Yeah, he was just indicted.
I was always wrong about that kid. I met with his father. I've been meeting with his father regularly. I had opportunity to talk, piece him up.
Like, hold on now. Like, just hold on. First and foremost, you've been meeting with his father regularly. You guys are just pals now. You smoke a blunt together. Like, what the fuck's going on? You've been meeting with his father regularly. Come on, listen, bro. Listen, all we have right now is police report and video. What is so groundbreaking that changed your mind? I don't see it. This is Drew Anthony trying to get Charleston White on board because he knows he has a very viral presence on the internet. That's my opinion. Like, money can go a long way. If you put the right amount of money in front of somebody, they might go ahead and start acting the way you want them to. I'm not saying that's what happened with Charleston White, but it's just the moves that the family is making says it all for me.
He go beat these charges.
You lie.
I was under the impression that he brought a knife to school. So I'm taking a knife to school. Fuck him. He didn't take a knife to school. He didn't even know these two white boys. These two white boys just came over there because he was with another kid that knew those white boys. So he a new black kid who these big old white boys, big white boys. He a small frame kid.
One of many that just go around making up.
One of the white boys was on that side. One of the white boys on that side. So either way go, they had him blocked in. And these some big white boys. These are some big, violent, aggressive white boys who got guns. And not only that, the one he killed whooped their daddy. See, the daddy coming into the picture playing like he been around. The dad ain't been around. We would think the black dad ain't around. The white dad ain't around. The mother don't even identify the daddy as the husband. So he must be.
Now, number one, I did want to point that out. I just never got around to it. It doesn't seem like Jeff Metcalf and Megan Metcalf are together. They're definitely not together. The interviews are separate. The kid is Hunter's either at his dad's house or at his mom's house. So they're clearly separated, right? But what I'm trying to figure out is how can you claim all of this as fact and not show us no evidence, Charleston? Now, I don't know if Charleston is getting this information from Drew, which is exactly what it sounds like. So let's go back a layer further back then. Drew Anthony, how the fuck do you know about that? How do you know that Austin broke his dad's arm? That's a crazy claim. I want a picture. I want a video of them fighting. I need that. You can't just get on the internet and just say anything about anybody. That's not how this shit works.
Exactly.
That's why I'm always like, oh, allegedly this, allegedly. So how are we going to take their word for it? The only person that was there who's still alive right now is Carmelo. And do you think he's really telling the God's honest truth to his dad too? Come on, bro. So it's like, how do you have this information? Now, I'm not saying that Jeff Metcalf is the best father in the world. I don't know. But you're saying that he got his arm broken by his kid and all types of shit. I need to know.
Big old strong cracker. He should have killed both of them. He should have killed both them Peckerwoods. With a that's mind his motherfucking business. That don't bring harm to nobody. This kid ain't a bad kid. These bully white boys just fuck with the black baby. So now they trying to make it about race. No, it ain't about race. Justice was served when he killed that cracker.
Now that's crazy. Now remember, he was saying the exact opposite the other day. That's why when you hear Charleston White speak, you gotta take this shit. Like, man, listen. Wherever the money's at, Charleston White's the talking head for it. Now, it's interesting that he's talking daily with Drew, though. That's the most interesting part, because how do you know all this? Oh, they were boxing them in. How do you know? And then to go and say he should have stabbed both of them, information, he would keep it to himself. And when he gets to court, bam! Oh my God, Carmelo Anthony's actually innocent. But no, you're streamlining this bullshit, streamlining it to like content creator.
Sarah Fields and the father and somebody who works for the court have been releasing Carmelo Anthony's family information to Sarah Fields. She's been putting it online, and the white folk been going. So they've been having to move. All those lies made up, homie, they can't even get the GoFundMe money. So they can't even touch the Go. So they just trying to smear a campaign, but that's what the cracker do.
Right.
Boy, I wish I could go back to when I was seeing the type of shit. Boy, I wish they could have caught me 3 years ago when I was really on my let's go get the cracker shit. But homie, homie, I wish I ain't got that spirit no more. So I'm saying, why black people ain't rallying around this family as they tried to rally around in the beginning?
No, see, that's the problem. And it's not a smear campaign. He's saying, why aren't black people rallying around this family? And this is the same thing I was talking about previously. Black people stop rallying around this family.
No, I don't. That's speculation too. I just checked. His Give Send Go is still getting active hits, like nice little chunks of amount, which is better than it was like a couple of days ago. I don't think he's talking it. I think if he is, he's in it for a bag, but they can't access the shit. So, and once they reset the goal higher, they still can't touch it until they hit the goal. So they hadn't hit the goal before when they set it up higher. Now, my opinion is this: people have been lying, like everybody online, except for New Black Media. Everybody online has been lying. Is saying that they spent the money, they're living beyond their means, they got another car, this, they had to move. Well, here's the thing, like you keep in mind he's a young black man that killed a young white boy. That's number one reason to move or move around. That shit don't go over well anywhere, especially in the climate we've been living in, so it's already up there. Um, the other thing is like, it would make sense that they would move around cars and places, you know what I mean? I don't know what the cost of living is right there, but you can't really knock a family for how they were living and then try to figure out how they're going to pay their bills and shit. Keep in mind, old Carmelo was kicking in something towards the finances because he had a job. You know, it is mind-boggling. Like no one has came up and try to even talk to him or defend the family. And Charleston White doesn't count. He's a flake. I mean, he'll do anything for numbers and clout and fucking up any kind of money. He's not. His scruples aren't great there. You know what I mean? But it's crazy. You know what I mean? That no one has said anything. Like no. I mean, there's plenty of other people to get on social media and do stuff. So that's kind of odd. They haven't touched it. So, and I just played an article with the creator saying the same thing, saying he did his due diligence about this, and he's already had to shut one somebody else's stuff down because they were doing some fraudulent shit. So he's on it. So I wouldn't be worried about it. But these people they live off of that. Look, this somebody that has 67,000 fucking subscribers. But he gets off on fucking telling lies and whatever. And the other chick, so invested. White supremacy is so invested in this. You know what I mean? And it touches every aspect of it. So let's finish with what else.
Family, because they realize that the family's full of shit. Again, you got someone like Charleston White coming out talking about personal information that could help in the trial. Oh, the kids were bullies. Oh, the dad was beaten on the Metcalf boys. Oh, this is what Charleston White's saying. Has just been paperwork. Freedom of Act information. You think they wouldn't take these videos down or that information down if it was something that shouldn't be shown? This very topic, so I'm going to probably get back to you later on today, but it doesn't make sense.
One second, family. All right, I'm right here. Just give me 1 second. I had to shut this down. I don't think he's a spokesperson. Charleston White. I just think he's out there for a fucking bag. That's all. I don't think he has anything to say. I think I have one more little off-brand thing to play.
What's up, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and it appears Carmelo Anthony's dad has been on a rampage, privately messaging people who have been covering this case.
He looks like it.
And, well, opening himself up to a pretty big lawsuit if what Charleston White has said is true. The whole thing is really bizarre.
Charleston White
A lot of people have not been covering exactly what the family's been up to since cashing in nearly $500,000. We know that Carmelo Anthony has his first day in court coming up in 11 days. From what I know, it's going to be a quick in and out, basically a formal reading of the charges. It's possible they could change the bail. They could make him stay.
Cuz looks like he's high as fuck. Look at how he's moving around like an old feral cat. Like he looks fucked up. Like, this is a typical case of put the pipe down. You know what I mean? Real shit. I don't like the way he's moving. That like shit makes me kind of feel like,
Everything in this case, up until this point, would indicate that there will be no changes in the potential charges. But I want to share this video, which implicates Carmelo Anthony's dad, as well as some wild lies. So first, I'm going to play a chunk of this. This is a particular account on X is allegedly run by someone who has been arrested for SA and is a creep. So keep that in mind. This says Charleston White apologizes to the Carmelo Anthony after meeting his family and says that he will beat the charges. He also claims that Austin Metcalf attacked his own father and broke his arm.
Whoa.
That's what he says. That's why his arm was in a cast. Additionally, Charleston White also accuses the racist influencer Sarah Fields of being the reason Carmelo spelt wrong. Family had to move, alleging she exposed their home address and was receiving information from staff inside the Collin County courts.
Look, again, I'm not going to repeat it, but I mean, when you got a young black man who kills a young white boy, you're going to have to move. Especially in racist areas. You're going to have to move around. Your life isn't going to be easier after that. It's not going to get better. In fact, it's going to be worse because it's going to be terrorized. You know what I mean? That they feel like they lost one. They like come after you. You know what I mean? Burn your shit down. That's what they do. That's what racist white supremacists do. That's what they've always done. So it would make logical sense that they move. I mean, for the betterment of the other children and the other people in the family, they have to move. They have to move around.
System. That's simply not true. I know for a fact she never addressed, she exposed his address. Let me actually get her response first to this. Unfortunately, this account has blocked me, so I can't respond directly. My reporting is backed by documentation and receipts, all publicly accessible through the Freedom of Information Act. Additionally, we should post at least some of them to prove that he was harassing you. The mainstream media released the neighborhood photos after the Anthony family set up the Give, Send, Go, already claiming the funds were partly for relocation. I've received nothing from staff members. If I had, quote, what sensitive information did I even release to the public? Please show me.
They said that when they started the Give, Send, Go thing, they said that what they were going to use it for. It's clear. Anybody who knows how to read can read it. And they said that. They said it, and it was written on there. So it's not like it's a fucking mystery, or they lied, or they added it. It's been nothing like that. I've been kind of watching.
Me. This is a direct attack on my accurate reporting and the Metcalf family, and it's disturbing. The Anthony family has Dominique have worked hard to silence me, and I'm not afraid, but I'm afraid I have done nothing wrong. Also, his name is Carmelo with a K, not with a C. What's interesting is, you know, Charleston White, in the long form of this podcast, said that Carmelo Anthony should have taken out both of his sons. Sarah Phil says, I listened to the podcast. Charleston White literally just said he should have taken both of your sons. Opinion disregarded. Straight trash. Now, here is part of the clip.
White probably made it very much worse.
I said that.
I want to take
time to apologize to Carmelo Anthony.
You hear me?
Man, I was all the way wrong about that kid. I was all the way wrong about that kid.
Yeah, he was just indicted.
I was all the way wrong about that kid.
He was on some white boy shit.
Do I have a better quality video?
Conflict.
I think I do.
And I don't know what else. And then all of a sudden he said this. I think he made it. If you believe any of this shit, then you think you should.
Man, I was all the way wrong about that kid. I was all the way wrong about that kid, homie.
Yeah, he was just indicted.
I was all the way wrong about that kid.
You've been talking to his father. Well, where did the knife come from, Charleston White?
I had opportunity to talk, piece him up. He go beat these charges. I was under the impression that he brought a knife to school.
He did. That's the craziest thing. You've been talking to his father. Well, where did the knife come from, Charleston White? And Carmelo Anthony's dad? Did it appear? Was it like particle beamed, like from Star Trek, the Star Trek Enterprise, into his backpack?
So I'm taking a knife to school. Fuck him. He didn't take a knife to school.
Yes, he did. Also, I noticed he's wearing that demonic Balenciaga crap. Just saying. No, I think Charleston White can be a funny guy. He's no moral compass. I don't think that's his intent. He said some heinous things in the past. But the fact that he said he talked to Carmelo Anthony, his father, is of note here.
He didn't even know these two white boys. These two white boys just came over there because he was with another kid that knew those white boys. So he a new black kid who these big old white boys, big white boys. He was a small frame kid. One of the white boys was on that side, one of the white boys on that side. So either way go, they had him blocked in.
Wrong. He could have walked straight back. He could have walked straight back. At no point does Charleston White address the police report. The police report that claimed he escalated it, saying, touch me, see what happens. Touch me, see what happens.
And these some big white boys. These are some big, violent, aggressive white boys who got guns. And not only that.
Now you're claiming they were armed. You claim that the Austin Metcalf and his brother were armed.
The one he killed whooped their daddy. See, the daddy coming into the picture playing like he been around. The dad ain't been around. You would think the black dad ain't around. The white dad ain't around. The mother don't even identify the daddy as the husband. So he must have been an abusive father. He ain't even...
First of all, don't know that might be true. The dad might not be in the picture. Second of all, everything this clown is saying right now is going to get him sued. He has claimed as fact
pretty much true
that Austin Metcalf broke his dad's arm. He has also stated as fact that Austin Metcalf's dad was abusive.
He ain't been in their life. So he just come and get in the light. He just come and get in the light. So he a low down dirty cracker. His sons are bullies. They bullied on the kid that no, because he's black. Get from up under.
Now he calls the kids racist with, again, no evidence whatsoever.
10. Man, y'all tripping. I ain't going nowhere. And they got a reputation of beating up people.
They have a reputation of beating up people. It's interesting I haven't heard or seen any of that. I've seen absolutely nothing to substantiate that.
Made it worse.
Apparently, Carmelo Anthony's dad is out there spreading this information.
It ain't a bad kid. These bully white boys just fuck with the black baby.
So they're bullies. Again, he makes a claim that they broke their dad's arm. I don't have any information regarding that.
I think
apparently Carmelo Anthony's dad is out there spreading this information.
So now they're trying to make it about race. No, it ain't about race.
Wait, Charleston White, you just said it's about race.
He's been
Justice was served when he killed that cracker. Self-defense. And the reason I say that is anybody can go see the video. Why do you think the media outlets ain't promoting to go see this video?
They are. There's been 100 articles about that. And actually, nobody can see the video. Everything he is saying here is verifiably
I can
false.
see the video. They just
The video is available only to local reporters who are not allowed to film it, who are not allowed to take pictures, and are only allowed to take physical notes. That is how quote unquote available that video is, Charleston White.
Right.
You can go
Dumbass.
up to the school and see it.
No, you can't.
And if you go up to the school and see it, we all to see this kid will be found not guilty.
You cannot go up to the school and see this video.
Right.
But because it's in an all-white town in Crackerville, and they done made it about race, whoever Sarah Fields is, Sarah Fields, you're a rotten motherfucker. And if I just had some time, I would put an army behind this family, but I ain't got time. It's supposed to be an army because Sarah...
Oh, you don't have time. You got time to do this podcast about it.
Sarah Fields and the father and somebody who works for the court have been releasing Carmelo Anthony's family information to Sarah Fields. She's been putting it online, and the white folk been going. So they've been having to move. All those lies made up, they can't even get the GoFundMe money.
Also a lie. First of all, it's a give, send, go, not GoFundMe. Second of all, they themselves have declared they have received the give, send, go money. Everything Drew Anthony has told Charleston White
I haven't received
is
it.
a verifiable lie. I don't think it's a race thing. I think it's an impulse control thing. I think Carmelo Anthony is a thug who absolutely did bring a knife.
Can't do it.
I believe he absolutely could have walked away. There is no evidence to the contrary. Now, the court proceedings.
But homie, I wish I ain't got that spirit no more. So I'm saying,
Like what you told me a year ago, you said that losing touch with reality.
You lose the spirit, homie.
I mean, everything this guy has said is a lie. And if I'm Drew Anthony, Carmelo Anthony's father, I would be coming out and saying I didn't tell him.
I think he made it worse. Just my thoughts. All right. Now that we're done with that bullshit, as I checked, like I said, they haven't touched it. So, read the rules, and I just played the thing with what the owner or the creator said of that fundraising site said. You know what I mean? So let's go right here.
New fallout in the very public feud between Elon Musk and President Trump. The tech billionaire is now making good on his threat to start a new political party after Trump's massive spending bill becomes law. Trump announced his America Party over the weekend, writing in part, Musk announced his America Party, writing in part, when it comes to bankrupting our country with waste, we live in a one-party system, not a democracy. Trump lashed out on Truth Social, accusing his ex-bestie of going, quote, completely off the rails and becoming a, quote, train wreck. Musk hit back by writing, what's Truth Social? So things have turned bad again for these two yet again. How worried are you about Elon Musk political party?
Well, you know, Abby, I think it'd be easier for Elon Musk to figure out how to get to Mars than it would be to start a new political party. It's the ballot rules in states are very complicated. This is yet another issue that's decided at the states. Whether your party can be on the ballot is subject to 50 different state laws. They're very complicated. In some places, they're dependent on what you did in the previous election, running as an independent, to get on the ballot for a future race. To be a viable party, you'd have to run for all offices. You'd have to run candidates for Congress, for Senate, for governor. And Elon Musk has a lot of money, and he's devoted a lot of money to politics. But if he starts a political party, there is a limit to what he can put in under federal election rules to that political party. So this is a very big undertaking, and I think he's probably blowing off steam.
Well, I am old enough to remember No Labels. Do we not remember No Labels? And they did successfully get on quite a lot of ballots.
Yes.
And they did so largely because they had secret donors bankrolling the whole thing. It does take a ton of money, and he just has that. So, I mean, I would say this is not nothing, right?
No. Well, I think there's two different things we're talking about. We're talking about midterms and we're talking about presidentials. So No Labels was the presidential race, and so they were able to get on ballots. And the fear was really on the Democratic side that would split the party. So if this was 2028, I think you would be more concerned. I do think, though, the amount of money that Elon Musk has that just can throw around, that is not just like backing a candidate, that can just be disruptive. And it seems like elections are so close in these days that 1 point could be a determining factor, and he has enough money to shave off 1 point. So I wouldn't just totally poo-poo it. I don't think that, as Deborah Cox says, how did we get here? Like, I think the breakup is final. I don't think they're coming back together.
No reconciliation.
I really don't. I don't think that they're going to be able to get beyond this. And I think it could play a part, not up and down the ballot, but in some key targeted, just to get under Trump's skin.
I mean, Trump's later, he also sent another Truth Social saying, talking about Elon's friend who he wanted to run at NASA. He said he thought his friend was very good. I was surprised to learn he was a blue-blooded Democrat who had never contributed to a Republican. He said, I also thought it was inappropriate that a very close friend of Elon who was in the space business will run NASA when NASA is such a big part of Elon's corporate life, which is funny because people had asked Trump about this very thing several months ago, and he was like, no, not a problem. Don't worry about it.
I was at Kennedy Space Center last week, and I saw one of Elon's rockets get shot in space, and I was like, it was very cool, by the way. I highly recommend seeing it. And 3 days later, this guy's announcing a new political party. I'm like, dude, why don't you just stick with what you're good at? Like, I just saw that on Tuesday. Like, stick with what you're...
It's sort of like Trump, because I remember, we would always talk about this, and Republicans would be like, yeah, let's put Elon in charge of flying planes. Like, let's put Elon in charge of every part of the federal government. And now all of a sudden,
he's crazy.
Well, I do think he has gone a little off the rails. I don't think there's any doubt, given his tweet storm or X storm or whatever you want to call it, that he's done. But me as a Republican, I'm not worried. I mean, if you look at the Republican Party, they're more unified than they've been in decades right now. So if you're a Republican, it's not something I'm overly concerned about. If he wants to go off and do it, I'm sure there are plenty of political grifters that will love to sign on and make a ton of money off of that. They're telling him he's a genius right now for doing it, so they can make a ton of money. If he wants to go do it,
I mean, you're not wrong. Our friend Harry Unton pulled this number for us. 4% of all voters, this is Elon's potential base, they like Elon, but they don't like the Republican Party. That's, just for the record, that's a very small number.
Look at the fight he had with the president. We know who won that fight. It was very clear the president came out on top.
Some years ago, Texan named Ross Perot decided to start his own party. Third
did
parties
very well.
did well.
18%.
18%. So, look, third parties, the history of third parties on the modern politics, it's difficult to go in. Either you're a Democrat or Republican. He does have a lot of money. Question is, where will those voters that go with that party go? When races are tight, 1 or 2% can make a big difference. And the question is this more directed at midterms for members of Congress or senators, or more directed at presidential race? But I was a Secretary of State, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Every state has some very, very particular type of rules to get on. So with a lot of money, you can overcome that.
Is this party like an independent party? They're not really saying anything about the party. They're just really just speculating.
To do this in a midterm might be a little difficult. The next presidential, it might be.
Can I say, I think, I mean, don't you think the Democratic Party, I mean, this is not just, frankly, about Republicans. I think what Elon is trying to say is that both political parties have disaffected voters who really don't like what their party is doing. So, I mean, even for Democrats, they're in the doghouse right now with their voters, frankly. I mean, is there a risk that he could siphon off some of those people?
Yeah, I mean, you just never know where those voters might come from. Yeah, because, there are people on the Democrats say, hey, Democrats, you need to fight harder and harder than what you're doing right now. Republicans, probably some of the Republican voters might think they maybe went over on some things because, look, both parties overreach. It happens. It overreaches, and the American public has a way of bringing back people to somewhere around the center.
I've been saying this, Abby, since before the election.
Yes, you have.
This is, I think we're approaching the end of the two-party system in America if parties don't self-correct.
Yes.
Voters are frustrated and their loyalty is no longer reliable. Am I thinking it's Elon Musk? I'm not sure. I mean, it's why we spent a week talking about who won the Democratic primary in New York, because you have parties like the Working Families Party that are starting to do recruitment and been in formation for 20 years. I'll just say, though, to close on this man had the keys to the kingdom. He had our data. He had everything we could imagine for over 100 days. And now we're saying he's a little unhinged.
That is a very important question. Let me play what Steve Bannon, who's no fan of Elon Musk, what he had to say about the whole situation.
The buffoon, Elmo the Mook, formerly known as Elon Musk, Elmo the Mook, a non-American starting an America party. No, brother, you're not an American. You're a South African.
Right.
And
There could be something with that.
if we take enough time and prove the facts of that, you should be deported.
Now, I'll give Steve Bannon credit for being consistent because he actually has been saying this for a while. But otherwise, I would say that what is the most ridiculous about this is the idea that the people, as I was just saying to Lance, who 6 months ago literally thought Elon Musk could hang the moon, are now maybe saying he should be deported, maybe saying he's lost his mind. This, frankly, is what people hate about politics.
I don't think Steve Bannon speaks for all Republicans or even a lot of them. And I think I'm personally glad Elon Musk is here in America. I'm glad SpaceX has helped save our space program. I'm glad Starlink is giving broadband to rural America where government fails. I'm glad he's here. I think that Ashley's right that he could make a difference in a few targeted races, but he would have to accept that he's going to be a spoiler, that his candidate's going to lose. And that is not something Elon Musk is going to be great at, I predict, is deciding he's going to lose.
I feel like he's okay with being a
Trump
spoiler.
loses.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe he's okay with being a spoiler because he's kind of like a little bit of a burn it down kind of person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's at least that's
I mean,
what
don't you guys all agree that Elon Musk played a significant role in 2024? So to think he wouldn't play a significant role regardless of
I wouldn't. Don't count him out of what anything he might try to do. But politics is a very new thing for him. As Lance says, he's good at rockets. He's brand new at politics.
Fair enough.
All right, guys.
Mexican rioters are kicking Americans out of their country. Look at this. This is crazy. This is happening in Mexico City. They are destroying businesses. Look at this. There goes the glass. And they're going in. Oh, man, look at all the people filming. This is crazy. They're telling him to leave the country. This guy's writing to blank a gringo. That's not good. Here they are trying to break into a restaurant that's already got spray paint on it. Look at this. This guy's got a knife. That's terrifying, man. Ripping down the outdoor dining. There's so many people filming it, and there's zero police anywhere. What do you do? No police. What do you do? Now they're attacking some apartments, it looks like, throwing rocks at them. It's just total anarchy. Ooh, look at that, they're breaking windows. This happened on Independence Day, too, so it was, I guess, pre-planned that they were going to do this to protest Americans who are in Mexico City. Look at this, man. Ooh. No way, man. Yeah. Again, no sirens. Look, these people are hiding on the floor. This is like an attack. Never mind that any of these restaurants are employing people that live in Mexico. Here's more footage of them ripping apart that clothing store. Look, they just totally loot the place in seconds. Absolutely unreal. There's massive crowds. Oh, look, the protest is peaceful now. Oh, thank God, a peaceful protest. I was worried for a second there. I thought this was one of those American protests that turns out not to be peaceful. Look at the sign. Gringo, go back. They do not want American migrants in their country for some reason.
These protesters in Mexico City say cross-border migration is changing their country's capital for the worse.
Well,
Over
that's
the
what
last
they're
decade,
doing.
An influx of mostly American, so-called digital nomads have moved here to work remotely and also enjoy a cheaper cost of living.
Oh.
Protesters say the newcomers have driven up rents beyond the reach of locals.
Principalmente si van a vivir. If they're going to live in a country, they have to contribute to that country. The first and simplest issue is legal migration. They come here with visas or no visas, and still the change in purchasing power generates these problems of gentrification and displacement.
So apparently, if you're an American, you could stay in Mexico for up to 180 days with no visa, which is like Mexico having a wide open border.
I'm here because gentrification is just one more step towards colonization, dispossession, and the exploitation of our resources. Right now it's
Their
about the
country's
people,
being
but it won't be
exploited.
long before they run out of oil, water, or lithium in other countries and come and take them from us.
I don't know about that.
Many Americans in Mexico are able to still receive high salaries in dollars from U.S. companies by working on laptops from their apartments.
The government is directing its public policies towards people with higher purchasing power, often illegally displacing local populations who have lived in these neighborhoods for 40, 50, and we have even documented.
You know, I would tell these people to go and protest the Mexican government, but then they'd be protesting a cartel-aligned governance body, and that's not going to work out. So who do they go after?
Cases of up to 60 years. In 5 years, rents have increased by 47%. This is violent for the local population. We are debating whether to pay for electricity, water, or food. Of course.
Well, if you don't
we
pay for
choose to
food,
eat.
that's not going to work out.
Some activists blame Mexico's government for encouraging them. However, there's no simple fix.
The border
Imposing tougher
wall.
visa restrictions on Americans could worsen relations with the U.S. Mexican citizens in the U.S. also send billions of dollars in remittances back to their families in Mexico.
Oh, so the government is afraid to crack down on how Americans might benefit from Mexico, since so many people in Mexico are benefiting from America. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Oh, they're going after this guy. Look at this. It's a riot. Ooh.
This is not your home. This is not your home.
This is not your home, they're saying. Wow.
Get out.
This is not very tolerant. That's not tolerance. This isn't a peaceful protest. How come we're not hearing about anything like this happening? How come the American news isn't telling us about this? Look at this guy with a mask and his shirt off. Oh, his shirt is the mask. Okay. This is wild. Mind you, these businesses employ people who live in these neighborhoods. I've actually got a friend who lives in Mexico City, and he said that these folks that you see protesting are actually a minority. That's what he tells me. That must be the case, or you wouldn't have these businesses. Look, everyone's smiling. That's crazy.
Explosive. Explosive. Get out.
Oh, they're throwing firecrackers or something in there? Whoa! No thanks, man. Look at this.
These hardworking idiots don't jump.
Look at this guy. He's like, what do I do? My restaurant is being destroyed.
Get out whoever doesn't jump. Get out whoever doesn't jump.
You know, the ironic thing about this is it's almost like having an open border has consequences that people don't find out about until after it changes things in a way that may be irreversible. But this guy's got the wrestling mask. Oh my goodness. What's crazy about this is that There's
Cientos
just
de manifestantes se reunieron el viernes,
Trump.
4 de julio,
Oh,
en la ciudad.
look who somehow is the reason they're out there rioting and who they don't like. Boy, if they're rioting because of Trump, you know who's really behind this.
Para protestar contra la gentrificación. Los manifestantes destacaron las dificultades
so they're
que
talking
enfrentan los
about the
locales debido al
gentrification.
aumento de las rentas y la transformación de los vecindarios.
There's that clothing store again. This place, I don't know if it'll ever open again. Look, after they raided it and looted it, then they threw objects in there. Oh, look at this dining shed. That is insane. What? That looks like a flamethrower. Yeah, what's absolutely fascinating to me is that this doesn't look like a story that major American news networks want to cover for some reason. I wonder why that is. Probably because these very same people are already in America.
That's right. They've been given the third warning to disperse.
This is July 4th right here. Look at this.
Following this rally, this march that has been peaceful all day long. There have been two instances where CBP vans have exited this detention facility, and that's when some protesters approached one of those vans and started hitting it.
That sounds peaceful.
Before that, water bottles were being thrown, and this is why, the law enforcement presence of Marines and the National Guard has increased over time. At this time, tensions are heightened here in downtown Los Angeles.
Look at this. It's called the Free America March. This is in Los Angeles at the Federal Building.
People have been trying to
make their voices heard in a very peaceful way.
At this point, it seems like...
Right. So in America, when anarchy takes place, people are just trying to make their voices heard. It's not a big deal. And when even crazier stuff happens in Mexico, let's not cover that. Let's not draw attention to the fact that other countries might be intolerable of immigration policies that may not benefit everybody who lives there. But you want to know the real reason why the Mexican government won't close the border? Here it is.
Teresa Mendoza cleans houses in Oceanside. Once she's paid, she wires money to 2 family members in Puebla, Mexico.
Yo sé la necesidad que hay en México y yo sé que...
I know the need in Mexico, and God has blessed me with my job, so I am able to contribute to my family when I can. Money transfer houses
legally,
like this one in
Oceanside
are a common stop for workers like Mendoza after paydays. The
So all these
transfers
people are
are
wiring
known
money.
as remittances, and $41 billion worth of them were wired in 2020.
Okay, so this report claims $41 billion of remittances in 2020. That was 5 years ago. But today, that number is a lot higher. Look at this, $65 billion last year. And it says right here, the Mexican economy enjoys a yearly boost just by encouraging people to come into America illegally. And it also says that their entire social welfare budget, this is what they might use to take care of people who are needy, is $30 billion, which it says right here is offset by whatever they generate from tourism. And this article also discusses the inconvenient truth that the number of impoverished people living in Mexico who the Mexican government may have to take care of is drastically lower, since that country is able to convince these people to cross into America, where we can get things like free healthcare and work illegally in sanctuary cities. Essentially, illegal immigration has been a lifeline for the country of Mexico and acts as part of its social welfare program, which means that everybody in Mexico right now is rioting over something that they don't fully understand. They want a one-way border that allows people to enter America, get jobs, and send money back here, but they're very upset when Americans might go to Mexico for some opportunity in a legal capacity. Again, you can stay in Mexico in some instances for up to 180 days with no visa from the Mexican government if you're American. This is not an illegal form of migration. No, it's totally legal, but they want a one-way.
Don't pay their way. Like, this basically is saying that Americans are doing remote work over there. And they act like there's gentrification, like Americans are fucking building infrastructure and shit over there. They're not. It's the Mexicans that are. Mexican people are. So what are they really arguing about? Because the way it looks, man, they're living like fucking fat cats over there. You got illegals over here working in an under-the-table job, sending money back to the country. You know what I mean? Like, what are you mad about? That your people got to come back? I mean, well, that's just fucking. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? Like, so what? That's the whole thing about being an American with a passport and a visa. You can go anywhere you fucking want to work wherever you want. You know what I mean? And if you're there illegally, then they send you back. You come back. You have to fix your passport and shit. You can't just be over there. You know what I mean? But either way, like the tourism from America over to there is a lot. Like motherfuckers are tourists over there. You know what I mean? We don't have tourism from Mexico. We have invaders from Mexico. Illegals come in from Mexico. They don't come over here to visit and fucking have a vacation. They come over here to fucking have babies and fucking leave. Like, there's no tourism from Mexico over here. It's us over there. So not only are we filling their pockets um, in all kinds of ways, but we're filling their pockets here too. Like, I don't understand what the gripe is, because while their people are here, they have working untaxed work under the table money that they send back. So it's like they're double dipping, like they're getting hit twice. And as far as tourism, they just pay a lot of money to go over there and be a tourist. They go over there for surgeries. They go over there for all kinds of shit. And those people are making money. The federales are making lots of money. And not only that, but then we have to deal with all the tunneling of drugs and shit and guns or whatever. Like, cause the United States can't live without fucking drugs and guns. Like, they just can't. They can't. It's like a normal thing now. So, if all that stopped, I mean, God forbid, right? So they're making out with more than what they're saying. Why they're upset, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's not like they're building up new places. Like, if people are living in their already built places and they're doing work from home, what really is a trip? But yeah, go ahead and send the gringos home, and we're gonna send you all your illegals. We'll make a little swap. But once you do that, you can't really be upset if nobody wants to go visit your motherfucking country after that, right? Kick out the Americans. What are they gonna do? They're gonna go write Yelp reviews, and nobody's ever gonna go visit Mexico again.
Border, I guess that's what they want over here. Look at this. You can get a 3-bedroom home in Mexico for $100,000. And you want to know why some people are willing to go there and buy these homes. You just can't do that in America. And if somebody could work a remote job with a computer and send money back here, or use that money to exist in Mexico, and it's legal, some folks are going to do that. What do you think about all of this? Should the Mexico border be a one-way border, or
our economy is just shit. Like, there's no the living wage, the working wage, and the area median income don't even match, not even remotely close. So it's very difficult to live here. It's very difficult to find adequate work if you want to. Now with all this shit going on, everybody's gonna have to find something to do. And it's gonna be really hard because people don't have the skill sets, you know what I mean, or can't. So it's a lot. But you go over there, it's like not only is America benefiting their from this, like they're benefiting their country in like multiple ways, multiple fucking ways. You know what I mean? You'd be lucky to have tourism over there. Because if not, it would just look like a cartel's country, and where everybody gets their head cut off and fucking killed behind the alligator. You know what I mean? You're lucky to have tourism, because nobody would want to visit a country that's ran like that. And it was like that. Just look at the way old girl got to be the president. She's the president, right? But 37 other motherfuckers had to die for her to get to be the president. Literally had to die. Got decapitated, all kinds of things. Look it up. So yeah, they're saying their country's collapsing, whatever. They fled. All them people fled over here to the United States, and now they're trying to send them back, and they don't want them to go back. Like, come on now. Not only were they eating for free, they got to work, and they were able to send money back. Been doing that for decades. Let's see what's going on.
All right, family. Black Power is the truth hour with General Sarasu Seti. Kick back, get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. I'm excited and delighted to be accepting members to not only the Sarasu Seti YouTube page, but the General Seti YouTube page, two dynamic powerhouse institutions on YouTube, giving you the making of the white man, Freemasonry, hip hop. We got it all. It's not another, because they talking about it's bodies that been here from yesterday. We got some fire going down today. Do not miss it, family. It's something for everybody. To all those that family donated to the general, thank you. Those would like to donate, link right there in the chat. I appreciate you very much. Make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels. King Seti, General Seti, Sarasun Seti. Rock that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share it with your family and friends. And comment. Just don't say nothing stupid, because I will ban your ass. Now, it's crazy because they talking about it's bodies that been being found out here in the ocean. Say they washing up on, different countries' shorelines. You see, they got them wrapped up in plastic bags and shit. Now, somebody asked me, was this this shit been going on for a while now. So I know when I went up there to do the research, I'm like, damn, I seen some shit that went back some years. But no, this is some new shit. Okay? This is some new shit. So people was making it seem like it was migrants. You know what I'm saying? It was migrants. But what you got to understand is migrants all over this motherfucker. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, when you got all these migrants and in the host country not taking them and shit, and this, that, and the third, are they dumping these damn bodies in the ocean? Now, would be some very seriously barbaric shit to do something like that. But listen here, they was doing that shit during slavery and shit. They get caught. Once slavery was outlawed, yeah, I got a little video. Once slavery was outlawed, if they got caught with, any type of cargo, human cargo, then, they could be executed. So they would just take the slaves, tie them to an anchor and throw them overboard. You see, that's what's up, family. Black Power. We're in the house. So, yeah, I mean, you can't put shit past these people. You can't put shit past these people. There's some wicked motherfucking countries out here that's willing to do it, and they talking about eliminating motherfuckers anyway. So if they'll put some diseases out here to get rid of mass population, they don't give a fuck about dumping nobody off somebody dumped them off in the motherfucking water. And they talking about their hands and feet was tied. Now some people trying to say it could be the mafia, could be the cartel, could be the government. You could be the goddamn government too. So you got to understand, a lot of these motherfuckers is henchmen. You got to think, you got some of them motherfuckers over there in Northern Africa, them Arabs, and they ain't nothing but henchmen for them damn Europeans. They getting paid to make sure that them Africans don't make it across the Mediterranean. So ain't no telling, and they revert to all type of barbarity. You see? Yeah, so we're gonna listen to this video right quick. And I saw this shit and I say, what? You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking to myself, is they reverting to this type of barbarity? You know what I'm saying? Well, you just gonna, I mean, motherfucker, you try to get, you at least this shit gonna wash back up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you gonna take the time to put them in a bag and shit like that. This shit gonna wash back up. You know what I'm saying? And once this shit hit the news, for real, it's gonna be some serious shit going on. So I'm thinking to myself, could it be a government or, but see, they get the rogue motherfuckers to do that. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean they hand ain't on it. They'll get, yeah, I believe it. They'll get them rogue motherfuckers that put they'll contract them out. Let's check this shit out.
There are horrifying stories.
Okay,
on There are horrifying stories of people washing up on beaches that are shackled. The news stories I've been finding out about it say that they were migrants traveling from like the north of Africa. But if they were migrants going from one country to another voluntarily, why would they be shackled? Now, I don't want to dive down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole. But the only other thing that bothers me about this is they're using cargo, specifically using military planes that open mid-flight. Like the same types of planes that, I don't know, special forces would use, airborne rangers, you know, when they jump out of an airplane. Because it's way cheaper to use commercial airplanes to transport people than it is to use military cargo jets. Why are people showing up on beaches unalived in shackles? Why are they using cargo planes that can open mid-flight?
Take a look at this picture here. That cargo plane was loaded with immigrants in Omaha, Nebraska. Cargo planes are much more expensive to fly.
Every once in a while, we come across a story so extraordinary that it resists belief. Tonight, the saga of an airplane that doubled as an instrument of murder. During Argentina's ruthless dictatorship in the mid-70s, the Skyvan PA-51 was used to throw victims alive into the Atlantic Ocean.
Damn.
This plane, where many of them met their death, would have been lost in the contrails of history had it not been for an Italian documentary photographer, Giancarlo Ciraudo. The cockpit, just as it was when the military pilots flew their clandestine death missions, flying far enough over the Atlantic so the bodies wouldn't likely be recovered, and then dumping the victims out alive.
God damn, that's crazy. They dumped them out of fucking live. You know, you got to be one ruthless motherfucker to do some shit like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Say they didn't even kill them. They fucking dumped their ass out there alive. You imagine motherfucker dumping your ass in the middle of the goddamn gringo. It means white person. That's what it means. Yeah. Well, shit, they white. Shit. You know what I'm saying? Shit. What is the goddamn them motherfucking Mexicans? They the same thing. Shit. They the same thing. Shit. So, you know, they gringo. You understand what I'm saying? They gringos too, then. You see. But anyway, yeah, you know, the dumb motherfuckers out in the middle of the ocean, you know what I'm saying? Alive, man. You and knowing you ain't gonna get back. Knowing your ass ain't gonna get back. You know? A motherfucking man, shit. All type of sharks and whales and goddamn, just imagine just being, you in the middle of the ocean. Man, that's just, anything out there can come and eat your ass and nibble on you. You know, they might motherfucking eat a leg at a motherfucking time. You know, come up, eat an arm at a time and shit. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that. Yeah, go on and knock a motherfucker off. You gonna do all that, you know. They really wanted motherfuckers to feel agony and shit. You know, they really, you know, them motherfuckers must have been really a threat. And that they really wanted, you know, agony and despair and terror to overtake they motherfucking ass. Let's finish hearing this shit out right here.
A whole week of military flight.
Oh yeah, wait a minute. They playing some crazy shit. All right, that shit loud. Hold on. Well, shit, you know what? Because it's some crazy shit. And they be fucking with my they be fucking with my goddamn channel when they be playing all that crazy music and shit. So I had to back up on that shit. But anyway, yeah, it just lets you know, but that's just like a motherfucker putting you in the trunk. You know what I'm saying? Putting your ass in the trunk and and shit like that. Black power. You know, you don't get in no goddamn Trump. You don't get in no motherfucking Trump, man. My dad, you know, used to tell me, make a motherfucker do what he gonna do. You know what I'm saying? You might as well make a motherfucker do what they gonna do. You gonna get in the back, yeah, she a witch. Yeah, get her ass on up over there. I don't want to see her. When she went there, when all that crazy ass music came on, I'm like, fuck this. Get this shit on up off of here. You ain't gonna be playing none of that old erratic fucking shit, and you know, and they be fucking with a motherfucker channel and shit. When you get to playing all that music, they come in with fucking, you know, copyright claims and shit. Fuck that. You know, I didn't even listen all the way through, you know, because I didn't think nothing was gonna pop up. But you know, the first guy explained all of it, and that was good enough for me. Yeah, that was good enough for me. But yeah, you can't be, you know what I'm saying? You especially if the motherfucker your enemy, you know what I'm saying? You taking a ride, you know good goddamn well. You know what I'm saying? You make a motherfucker do what he gonna do. At least you know, motherfucker can see you. You know what I'm saying? Have their eyes on you. You don't let a motherfucker put you in the back seat and drive off and nobody know. That's just like the Jimmy Hoffa shit. That motherfucker got in the back seat. That motherfucker drove off. They ain't never found that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And so, but you know, this just show you how wicked these motherfuckers is out here. No matter who it is, you know, they got body bags and shit. They organized to a certain extent because a motherfucker just gonna pop you. They gonna pop you. They don't give a fuck. They ain't about to, you know what I'm saying, let you drop and leave you where you at. But for them to have body bags and they gonna tie motherfucker and this, that, it's some organization to that. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's crazy. I was seeing, man, one picture. Now, this might have been 8 years ago. Yeah, 8 years ago, I did see some shit about and man, they had a whole fucking beach, man, that was just like, man, it looked like it could have been, man, 50 to 100 motherfuckers, man, in body bags out there. I say, damn, who would do some shit like that? Who would do some shit like that? So you got to know this is a very wicked world, and is it past you talking about people that then fucking lynch motherfuckers, set people's on fire and shit. They've been, they were setting motherfuckers on fire. Okay, even over here in the United States, this shit, Salem and shit. So you talking about 1600s, 1700s, they were setting motherfuckers on fire. You know what I'm saying? Over there in London, they were doing all type of crazy shit. They'll cut your back open and shit. And yeah, you ever heard of that shit? They'll cut your back open. You understand what I'm saying? Take it and peel your skin and shit. Man, I seen that shit. That shit was wicked. Where they take your motherfucking, they'll peel your back open, nigga, and put hooks on that shit and have your ass out there with your back open. Yeah, nigga, your motherfucking, your spine and shit and all of that shit wide open. And so, when you look at the shit that people done, man, you can't put nothing past these motherfuckers. Feed the babies that use the babies for alligator bait and shit. Crazy as hell. They was doing that shit overseas. They don't talk about that shit in Africa because, when I was doing the research on the alligator bait shit, right? And they would make faces of death. Yeah, that's that old school shit. I ain't seen the faces of death. Do they still got that shit? Do they got faces of death on any type of internet and shit? Do they still show the faces of death? Because I remember back in the day when they used to show that shit on the VCR tape. But so they ain't long and shit, man. Listen here. I used to have this one video. This shit was crazy. You feel what I'm saying? And man, I could only, they just changed the name of it. Oh yeah, what's it called? I'm gonna try it. Where can you find it at on the internet? I ain't seen that shit. I remember that one motherfucker cracked the monkey head open and shit, doing all type of crazy motherfuckers. I remember I saw that one where they had them motherfuckers over there in Africa and they had tied their ass to the poles and shit, and they were, they were showing them getting shot down and shit. That shit was crazy as hell. Yeah, that faces. I ain't seen Faces of Death in so long, man. That's like I ain't seen Faces of Death probably since the 90s, man. You feel what I'm saying? It's been, yeah. It's on Tubi. Faces of Death is on Tubi. I'm gonna look that shit up as soon as I get off of here. Yeah, that was some crazy shit, man. Yeah, I'm like, God damn, they was doing all type of crazy. Motherfuckers were dying all kind of crazy ass ways on that shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. They saying it's on Tubi. I'm gonna check it out. Yeah, I'm gonna check that shit out. But yeah, so you dealing with, and so I mean, you thinking they ain't popping some of them motherfuckers out there trying to come across that border? Shit. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Ain't no telling what the fuck going on when they get down to the get down. So y'all gotta be careful out there, man. Don't be traveling too far away from civilization.
And she is beyond crazy. Let's see one more city. Let's see.
All right, family. I'm Black again. Black Power. It's the Truth Hour with General Sarasu Seti DVD lectures that could compare, compete, had to come back on this one, family. Because I put a picture up there with the man hand missing, and the motherfucker YouTube, they was mad at me. So I had to take it down. I would say, fuck it. Let me take it on down before they give me a goddamn strike. And so I had to come back. And I had to speak back on it, man, because it's fucked up that the brother lost his hand like that. But people talking about the nigga been running around talking bad about black people. That's what they say. Say the nigga might got some karma.
Mm-hmm.
Might got some karma. That's what they saying. Saying the nigga was been talking bad about black people and shit, but I don't wish nothing on the nigga. I don't know. That's what people say. I don't know. You feel me? I ain't hear it personally, but I did hear the nigga say he was gonna blow some people shit up on the video. I'm gonna blow some shit up. And nigga, you blew yourself up. How the fuck you do that? You sitting up there, you talking about, I'm gonna blow some nigga shit up, and then you done blew your motherfucking hand off. I say, God damn. And when I seen a clearer picture. I seen a man, goddamn, nigga, it looked like you got in a fight with Predator or something, man. Motherfucker was mangled. You understand what I'm saying? Literally, it looked like a fucking alligator, man, had chomped down on the nigga hand. You feel what I'm saying? That's why I'm telling y'all, be careful with them goddamn firecrackers. You niggas, you get high, you get drunk. You didn't have if you didn't have a fifth of Hennessy and then smoke about 5 of them Kushite blunts, good and goddamn well, you don't need to be lighting up no goddamn firecrackers. No, you don't need to be lighting up no goddamn firecrackers. You know what I'm saying? The wick, you can't see, nigga. You might think the motherfucking wick, you know what I'm saying? You think you really got a long wick, motherfucker. That motherfucker ready to blow up. You see? And so I don't know, man. I just don't know. How in the fuck you couldn't get that? Now, like I say, you got to be careful because these motherfuckers is firecrackers. You know what I'm saying? The wick, man, listen, some of them motherfuckers, soon as you light them, the motherfucker disintegrate. The motherfucker disintegrate right there in front of your eyes. You see? And I told motherfuckers the other day how I blew a firecracker went off in my motherfucking hand when I was young. You feel me? Hold on, family. Hold on. Let me unplug my mic. All right, we back in the house. We black in the house. Yeah. And And I was young, and that ain't my mic, that's my motherfucking headphone. Yeah, I was lit the motherfucker, and these was what they call black cats. And so them ain't no regular motherfucking firecracker. When this bitch go off, nigga, it's gonna sound like a motherfucker let off a 2-5. You feel what I'm saying? And so, man, I lit that motherfucker, and listen, I swear to God, man, that motherfucker wick disappeared so goddamn fast, I didn't know what the fuck to do. I froze like a motherfucker. I froze. And when I say, nigga, you know, I tried to blow the motherfucker out. This shit was like Bugs Bunny and shit. You know, when I went to blow that motherfucker and that bitch went off in my hand. Blah! Man, I died through the goddamn screen door, man. Honestly, man, I didn't know what to do. I just died through the motherfucker. You know, how you had them little screen doors back in the day. And you know, niggas done all you in the hood, you know, goddamn screen door, especially that one at the bottom, shit, the one at the top. All the motherfuckers done been poked out and shit, you know what I mean? I just dove through the motherfucking screen and ran in there, man. My fucking fingers was black. Man, that shit hurt it for about a week. You know what I'm saying? The pain was excruciating. So I told motherfuckers and people, y'all had to wire me up on, because I remember back in the day where now y'all had me together on the last one. Y'all told me what the different specs is on there. I say these niggas is like baby Bin Ladens and shit. The way they got the specs, you know, they ran that shit down. M1000s, and I say, well, shit, I don't know nothing about no M1000. Shit, that motherfucker sound like some shit that they dropped over there on Iran the other motherfucking day. You know what I'm saying? They probably dropped the M1000 on their ass. I ain't fucking with no M1000. That goddamn thing right there. That M80 is a bad motherfucker. But I remember when they was buying them up, when they was selling them motherfuckers, and y'all, I don't know, I thought it was a quarter stick. You know, they at least two of them motherfuckers. They about that long and shit. And man, me and my cousin had lit one of them motherfuckers, man. And as soon as you light that motherfucker, niggas take off running. I was running, it was at night too. And when that bitch went off, boom, man, listen, it got light outside. Listen to me. I'm telling you, I'm not making up no goddamn joke. It got fucking light outside for about 2 seconds. You see what I'm saying? You know, and it rushed, and the crazy shit, man, the light rushed past the niggas. So we was running, and that shit said boom, and you could just see the light up. You could see the grass and shit. You know what I'm saying? You could see the grass and all that shit. I say, man, that's a bad bitch. That's a bad bitch, boy. You got to hurry up, get the fuck away from that. You be missing it. But I was hearing about niggas losing hands and half a nigga arm and shit. Man, y'all gotta be careful with that shit. You can't, man, fuck that. I'd rather put the motherfucker on the ground. You feel me? I ain't even, that's when I learned that shit. I put that shit on the ground. Oh, he gotta go fund me? Oh shit. That's fucked up. I hope man, listen, man, you know, I ain't no rotten ass nigga like that to wish nobody get their hand blowed off. You feel what I'm saying? I made a joke the other day. I say, well, the nigga name is 4 Extra. So if he got 4 Extra, you feel me? It's time to pull that motherfucker out because you need that. You need that motherfucker. It's 4 Extras. You know what I'm saying? They say a cat got 9 lives. This nigga say he got 4 extras and shit. Well, you got 4 extras, nigga. It's time to pull one out. Because you need that motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah, you was watching the clip. Yeah, that shit, yeah, I didn't even know how to, yeah, that shit was, but I wasn't trying to make nobody shit. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? No pun intended. Yeah. Give him a couple dollars. Hey, you know what, man? Y'all say if you know he gonna repent. He gonna repent. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. He gonna repent, man. I ain't gonna kick a man like that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna kick a man like, cause goddamn, you know what I'm saying? I don't care. You know what the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That's enough. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's enough. That's a motherfucking enough right there, you know what I'm saying? to get him together, man. You know what I'm saying? That's enough. Motherfucker lose a hand. I can't. You know what I'm saying? I can't kick a man when he down. Say he needs special boxing glove. What he be scrapping. He be squabbing with motherfuckers. Well, shit, he gonna have to. Yeah, say hand over. He gonna have to use elbows. Nah, you know what I'm saying? He gonna have to come with that motherfucking elbow. You feel me? Yeah, you gotta come with that motherfucking elbow. You know what I'm saying? Come with a knee and shit. You know what I'm You know what I'm saying? Yeah, motherfucker, you ain't gonna have to come with that headbutt. You feel what I'm saying? Shit. You gonna have to, ain't nothing wrong with it. Yeah, shit, you know what I'm saying? Fuck that. The motherfuckers out here cold in the motherfucker. Some motherfucker just use legs. I seen a karate movie, motherfucker didn't have no arms. Motherfucker just was all legs kicking motherfuckers. You feel what I'm saying? And was deadly than a motherfucker too. He had built his motherfucking legs up to when he was kicking motherfuckers, man. The motherfucker was going through walls and shit. You see what I'm saying? But not to be funny, but many times when you do lose a hand or so, an eye or any ear and shit, yeah. Hey, well, shit, nigga. Well, if you out on the street, you got to use it. You got to do whatever the fuck you got to do. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Shit, even you motherfucker had to bite a motherfucker. Ow. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you had to do what the fuck you had to do. Hey, you bite a motherfucker, nigga. Mike Tyson, nigga. You understand? Whatever the fuck you got to do to be victorious out there. I don't know if it's real or not. You know what I'm saying? They saying it's real. It could be some goddamn it could be some AI shit. I don't know, because the way he was looking, you know what I'm saying? The way he was looking, man, if my motherfucking hand was blown the fuck off, man, ain't no way, man. Y'all done had to get me the fuck up. You feel me? Shit. Y'all would have had to get me the fuck, man, get me somewhere, man. Wrap my shit up. Yeah, I don't know, man. I ain't saying it ain't real. I don't know. They ain't got no video of it. And you got to know, shit, how they is out here on the, man, motherfucking my hand, man, please. Get me some, and listen, I don't do shit, nigga. Get me to the hospital. I need some Demerol, nigga. I need to be induced. You feel me? Your motherfucking hand, nigga, induce me, nigga. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. I want to go to sleep, and nigga, I don't want to wake up, nigga, to that motherfucker wrapped up, nigga. Matter of fact, going down there, get one of them cyborg, nigga. I want to be like the Terminator, nigga. If I ain't got no motherfucking, I ain't got no motherfucking hand, nigga. I want something, nigga. Give me one of them Terminator hands. You feel me? I ain't wishing nothing on the nigga. You know what I'm saying? I actually feel like this is really shocking, man. You know what I'm saying? That's really shocking for a motherfucker to lose a hand like that, man. You know what I'm saying? But he was talking crazy. Yeah, they ain't got no video of it. Say don't put no alcohol on it. Oh, hell no. No, you don't want to put no alcohol on, man. That motherfucker probably, man, get to doing cartwheels to the hospital. For real, that motherfucker get up and just run. You put that goddamn alcohol, nigga, you woo. That nigga get up and run to the hospital and shit. You feel me? So he coming back like Captain Hook. Yeah, well, shit, that'll be a bad motherfucker.
Right. Yeah, I was laughing about it because I think, damn, Edwin. All right, he was just causing all kind of motherfucking mayhem, and he thought he could just boss up on anybody. A lot of this has to do with, oops. Sorry about that, family. What's been going on with no jumper, so you know what I mean? Otherwise, I'm kind of glad. Like, I'm like, well, that shows him right. I don't like ugly. I don't like ugly. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that happened. It's like, I was gonna, I don't like ugly. Mm-mm. You know? Let me see. I have a few more before I gotta get off.
All right, all right. Up and all of this mythological, you understand, demonic shit to keep you Hinduism, all the isms. We knocking them down. Boop, 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 boop. Get over there, family. We got Egypt. We got all of that. There's not another website nowhere on the planet that could compare, compete, become a member today. We got that file on Patreon, man. Woo! Got that. We're gonna be dealing with that queen of the damn, that Costa, the hidden esoterical understanding of that melanin that's involved in that to get a vampire immortality. These people is taking our sacred knowledge and wrapping it up in all of this mythological, you understand, demonic shit to keep you away from it. But we're gonna pull back the veil today on Patreon. So click that link at the top and get your butt over there today, for real. All the family out there, donated to the general, thank you. Those would like to donate, the link is right there in the chat. Appreciate you. You know I do. Make sure you subscribe right now, immediately. Get a video a thumbs up, like it because you love it. Share it with your family and friends, and comment. Just don't say nothing stupid, because I will ban your ass. Now, I'm hearing this, family. I'm hearing that the Haitians then bucked up on ICE in Flatbush. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. I'm with you. I'm with you, family. Rise to the occasion. You feel what I'm saying? I'm just looking for the video. That's all I'm looking for. I'm looking for the video. And I went up on the internet, and they got some videos up there, which I took the background, right? And that's the Flag Day. So I'm trying to see what's really going on. Because I'm saying to myself, I support you, family. Haitians have always supported me. I ain't gonna say all of them, but all my people, the Black Americans don't support me. So that ain't no qualification of whether I ride with you. You feel what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I ride with the Haitian family. You feel me? And so if they supposed to, I'm glad if that's what I'm looking for, because that's inspiring. You see, to see our family rise up for the occasion. They ain't begging nobody, and which is all good, because it's at a time where we have to stand for each other. You see what I'm saying? Ourselves too, first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? Shit, we've been over, so we have to at least stand for ourselves first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? And that's wonderful that if they wrote, I'm just looking for the video. Because you know what I'm saying? I don't want no goddamn pump faking out there now. Straight up. You understand what I'm saying? This is the world of AI. And so I've been looking all over the motherfucking place. I mean, goddamn, that people are saying that they deleted the videos and shit and this, that, and the third. You're not going to delete the motherfucking video off of every goddamn platform. You got some platforms they bout that life. You feel what I'm saying? You got individual websites and shit. I want somebody to find me a link. I want to see it, man. I want to see them in action. You know what I'm saying? I want to celebrate. You feel? And real talk. I ain't being funny, but if you pump faking, I don't want nobody out there pump faking, because that's gonna look too bad. Because when it come back on you, you understand what I'm saying? It ain't gonna look good. You know what I'm saying? And so I want somebody out there. Anybody out there got a link to the video? Anybody out there got a link to the video? Motherfuckers out there, Haitian about to catch it. I ain't letting, yeah. Well, that's the video. Yeah, they putting it up there. That's the one, though. You know what I'm saying? That's the one that's going around. That's the one that's going around. They got the video and shit, and it's supposed to be Flag Day, Haitian Day, and I'm looking for the motherfucker when they scrapping and shit. You see what I'm saying? So, because I just want to listen to me. Listen to me. I just want, because I'm just being 1,000 with you. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just being 1,000 with you. If it is what it is. But be ready now when they come back. You understand what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. You feel what I'm saying? And this is support. This is not no motherfucking, you understand what I'm saying? No, this is support coming from the general. Be ready when they come back. God damn it, be even more prepared when they coming back, because I don't think they're going to intend to take no more ass kickings like that. You see what I'm saying? I don't think so. So, you know what I'm saying? So be ready. You feel what I'm saying? When they come back, y'all gonna put yourselves in a predicament. You feel me? Because that's what they want. You know what I'm saying? And I understand. I guess you press to the wall where you got to do what the fuck you got to do. You see what I'm saying? You got to do what the fuck you got to do. You got to stand 10 motherfucking toes down. But be ready when they come back, because they coming back. They coming back, and ain't nobody everybody gonna pump you up and say, oh man, y'all doing the damn thing. Y'all doing the damn thing, man. Y'all the shit. Oh, Tucson Overture, Dessalines, them is my heroes. I call their name all the time, pour out libations, and I pour out libations for the mighty ancestors, no doubt about it. Call their name with reverence. Divine reverence, and this is no joke, but this is real life today. This ain't motherfucking France. That's all I'm gonna tell you. These motherfuckers got some shit that you understand that France couldn't even imagine of having at that motherfucking time. You see what I'm saying? So I don't want no motherfucker to be confused and shit. You know what I'm saying? You catch them off guard one time, wonderful. Y'all ain't coming up in here today, but tomorrow could be very different, and I'm gonna tell you that not because I'm not gonna boost you up, nigga, and make you have a false a consciousness about your security. You see what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do you like that. These motherfuckers gonna say, oh man, them motherfuckers, if you did, they coming back, and the next time they coming back, and they're going to come back harder than they did. And if it's a third time, man, they coming back with lethality. They coming back with lethality. So, be prepared. I don't want to hear you whoop a motherfucking nigga. They going to lethality. So, I mean, get ready and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to go in increments. And this is for us, too. This is for us, too. This ain't for, you know what I'm saying? I would tell my, Black Americans the same motherfucking thing. You understand? I always told you where it's gonna go. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never pump fake with you. You understand what I'm saying? Just get ready. That's forwards. And if we all join in, it's a glorious thing. We could be victorious if we all join in. If we could be victorious, but don't be out there pump fake. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't see no video. Ain't no motherfucking way, man. If that many people was out there with phones, niggas, man, you would probably have thousands of different motherfucking videos going around, just from different angles and shit. You feel what I'm saying? Where the fuck is the video? I want to see this shit.
Right.
I want to see this shit, man.
Right. And I looked right now. It's just one video with everybody in there.
Hey, listen.
And it's not really like...
If they over here illegally get them up and get them... Exactly. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. You feel what I'm saying? I don't care who it is. My peoples, though, if you here and your paperwork is 1,000, that's all good. You understand what I'm saying? We been here. We paying taxes. We've been paying taxes over this bitch for 400 years. You understand what I'm saying? So the shit that we saying is real. I don't give a fuck what you done did in your couple years you been over here. We've been over this bitch paying taxes forever. We love our people, though. If you come over here right, but it don't make no difference where you from. If you breaking into this motherfucking country and you eating off of this bitch, you got to go. You got to go. That's real. That's only right. We didn't call nobody. We say everybody. If you illegal, right. You understand what I'm saying? It's nothing that we do as Black Americans where we don't get, you know what I'm saying? We don't get the punishment. You understand what I'm saying? Whatever crime it is, nigga, we gonna do our motherfucking time. If they sentence your bitch ass, you gonna do your motherfucking time. Ain't nobody coming down there and nigga for you or nothing. Nigga, every nigga that commit a crime and his bitch ass go down to them peoples, you might get a motherfucker family member to come down there. Half the time you be down there by yourself, nigga, when they sentence you. You take your ass on up in there, you do your motherfucking time, you come out and you try to do better. That's it. But if you commit a crime, you gonna do the motherfucking time. So why should we be marching for motherfuckers that then broke into the country? Don't make no goddamn no. We are not gonna march for no motherfucker that then broke, and we don't even go down there for our own motherfucking family, nigga, that committed a goddamn crime. Be down there at court, motherfucker be in there by herself. Motherfucking family won't even come sit in the motherfucking courtroom. They'll see your bitch ass when you get home, nigga, and even when you come home, nigga, might not want to fuck with you. You feel what I'm saying? So we're not gonna support motherfuckers breaking into the guy, and we paying taxes. You understand? And our babies and shit need, all the things that they need, food and health care and security and jobs and shit. You understand? We gotta think about our babies. You understand what I'm saying? We gotta think about our own children. What future do we have for them to let motherfuckers come over here and just pile in? And they fuck that. Hell no. And if y'all don't like it, take your, and I'm not talking to this go for everybody. This go for everybody. Everybody that's here and you legal, you putting your paperwork in, but motherfuckers sneaking in, coming through the border at night and shit, crawling up on the walls and shit. You understand what I'm saying? And motherfucker digging tunnels and shit. And you understand, some motherfuckers catapulting over the motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? They got catapults and shit where they catapult the motherfucker over the motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? They motherfuckers sewing keys in their leg and shit. You know what I'm saying? They got motherfuckers doing everything. Sewing keys, taking out livers and kidneys and putting goddamn keys in where they goddamn kidney go and they liver and shit. And the motherfucker then remove that motherfucker intestines. Motherfucker ain't even got no intestines. Motherfucker uses a cavity in the motherfucker where they be putting 3 and 4, 5 bricks in the motherfucker stomach cavity. Then remove this goddamn intestines. We ain't got time for it, and that's real. You understand what I'm saying? That's real. That's real. So to the family out there, I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see it. You understand what I'm saying? Where you think you going to, it's one thing. If they take it and you legal, you got your paperwork. If you are not a citizen, any nationality, ethnicity, I don't give a fuck where you could be from goddamn Antarctica. I wouldn't give a fuck if you was from Antarctica. You see what I'm saying? You could be from Lemuria, you could be from Antarctica, you could be from Idaho to motherfucking Australia. If you are not a citizen of the fucking United States, you have no right to be here. So what the fuck is you fighting for? You ain't got no right to be here. The fuck is you talking about? And that go for any nation on the planet. You acting, I tell you what. Why don't y'all go to motherfucking, because, well, what's up with France? Why motherfuckers don't go to Britain? And why motherfuckers don't crawl up under, some shit over there? And is Canada having that kind of problem? Is Canada having that kind of problem? Is they letting is motherfuckers creeping in? I don't know. I mean, what other nation in the world allow motherfuckers to come through they borders like and get motherfuckers? Yeah, France pulled in the motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
What?
There's no video. Well, if there is, like, just a little bit of shoving with the Haitians, running up on ice and shit in Brooklyn. Right, we're still looking for the video. So moving along. This is guaranteed to upset anybody.
That are walking out of this courthouse, taken away from their families. They don't have the attention. They don't have the lawyers. And that's why the state of New York is providing $50 million to cover legal services for people who are finding themselves in this situation.
Apparently, the state of New York has not done enough to help undocumented migrants over the past few years, even though tens of millions of dollars has already been spent on them, feeding them and housing them, taking care of their needs. That's not enough, because Governor Kathy Hochul just announced that the state of New York is now going to be spending $50 million to cover their legal fees so that they can fight against being deported. I used to wonder why these people had such an entitlement about them, like they deserve to be in the United States. How dare you try to deport me? I understand now why they have this entitlement. It is because they know that no matter what, these Democratic leaders are going to come up and stand up for them. Democratic leaders who could care less about American citizens will stand up for them. Democratic leaders like Kathy Hochul, who is showing you she will take $50 million of your hard-earned taxpayer money from the state of New York and use it to take care of people who do not belong in this country.
Hey, Freedman family and our riders. Now, I recently came across this story out of New York, where New York Governor Kathy Hochul, hope I'm saying that right, has set aside $50 million for a legal fund specifically for illegals in New York. Again, $50 million. Illegal. Now, money for illegals, but none for the legal citizens. And this right here is why the Dems are losing support with many FBA, talking about Trump and the Republicans and calling out what they think he's always doing wrong and his racism, but not doing anything about the racism ever. Is not helping them at all. Neither is them line dancing or having them shields insult people because we don't vote the way they want us to. Now, these people have not learned anything, y'all, and are determined to keep taking L's at this point. Now, they prioritize everyone but the people they expect to vote for them or who they get mad at or talk down to for not voting for them. I mean, these people get mad, throw insults at us. They always quick to tell us we need a civics class or we don't know government or, something like that. Anytime we question a thing about the Democrats. And yes, I'm talking about Democrats because we don't vote for Republicans 80 to 90% of the time. Now, why I wanted to share this story is because you ever notice when it's time to do something specifically for Black American freedmen, FBA, the descendants of those who built the country from the ground up, we're always met with excuses and loopholes and delays and, what about everybody else, or it got to be for everybody. Now, ever notice when it's time for others to get something specifically for them, it gets done. Now, this lady found and created a $50 million fund specifically to provide legal assistance to illegals, regardless of their status, to help them stay in the country, fight deportation, navigate immigration court. And it's pretty much targeted specifically for them. And it's immediate. Now, reparations, land grants, a hate crime bill, direct economic investments for freedmen. It seems to always be a problem. I have to keep reiterating that because it's something wrong if you don't see that. And these are things that we have been systematically stripped of. Our wealth, whether it's through land, whether it's through stealing our labor. I mean, these are things that we are supposed to have and that we've been demanding, which is why people are losing support for them. Now, these friends, and I use friends very lightly, they don't sound too friendly, do they? Now, I don't care how many shields come in the comments and label me MAGA. That's not an insult. And I don't care because you can't do anything about it if you can't do nothing about it anyway. Anyway. Now, there is nothing you can do about it. It's freedom, right? Or is it only about freedom or democracy when we don't ask questions or when we're doing what you think we should do, which is vote blue no matter who? That don't work no more. Now, why would somebody with common sense use their gas? Yeah, because gas is expensive, and effort to vote for this. I vote for you to do all this stuff and invest in other communities. And then when it's time for me to get something or I tell you what I need, everything is symbolic. I mean, we're clearly watching them do things for other people who are not even citizens. I mean, throwing away money, blank checkbook, but none for you, then insult you when you question it. Now, many of us are just at a point now where either you do something specifically for us or we just not voting for you or we going to vote for somebody else, or even if I got to write somebody in there. Okay, simple. The truth is, again, when it's other groups, they get policies. When it's us, we get symbolism. I can remember us asking for a hate crime bill for years now, and they turned around and gave us Juneteenth, which again, everybody gets the benefit from, and not all Black freedmen have that off. See how out of touch they are? They want to do what they want to do, but then want to have an attitude, when people say something or don't rock with them like that. Now, other groups get money and legislation. Don't let them fool you and tell you, they don't do for everybody else, or everything got to be for everybody. No, because when they did something specifically for Jews got what they were supposed to have. Native Americans or the $5 Indians, shall I say, they get billions every year. They doing something specifically for illegals, then it's just for illegals, like this lady right here is doing. When it's us, we got, meetings, got to go through commissions, create hashtags, Again, this is one of the reasons her and her party are losing their base. Many people, y'all, are seeing things for what it is. And the shaming ain't working so much no more. Now, you still got plenty of vote blue no matter who. They're always going to be there. But there are just a lot of people who just not doing it anymore. And this right here is why. Money and tangibles for everything else. And when we talk to them about the symbolism or what they're doing wrong, they want to mention healthcare, which is pretty much for everybody. They mention HBCUs. First of all, not every Black freedman went to an HBCU. And even if they did, that still doesn't address the Black wealth gap, housing and discrimination. Why not create a fund for Black freedmen to help get us reparations, get some of that land back that has been stolen after slavery? What about that? But that would be too much like right. And I also want to note, guys, this was led by a white woman. For those who don't know, these same white women are placed in a minority pool with us. Ladies, they pretend to be a friend when it's convenient. But you see how they so quick to undermine us and overlook us? You ever notice they only pretend to be a friend when they need us to back them? Hochul didn't have the power to do anything specifically for freedmen, but she could do this specifically for illegals. Sisters, I'm singling us out right now because I want us to see that there is no sisterhood. You ever notice that they're usually the first ones in the schools to get our books banned, from teaching our children? Not that I get mad when they, teach our history wrong or they take away things because they don't teach it right anyway. But you ever notice they're usually some of the first people to talk against it? You ever notice that they, help keep the division in our community, by programming us to believe we don't need our men? Now, I'm not here to say that all of our men appreciate us, because you get some sillies in the comments who always got something to say about women, but there are a lot of FBA freedmen men who love us. I've been protected by Black men my whole life, but I also noticed the pattern that they make us feel like we don't need them. And we do, and they need us. If they were truly a friend and welcome us into their women's rights movement, if they truly were a friend, then why did they make Miss Sojourner Truth strip down at an event they had? Miss Sojourner Truth, look her up. One of the top greatest. She had a poem called Ain't I a Woman, and that was pretty much about how white men treated her less than the white women. And she was pretty much saying, ain't I a woman? them when they were making us cook for them, clean for them, nurse their patients first. Don't they get them every year? Nobody bothered to tell our friends against my men. I'm not. Hell, they ain't going against theirs. This lady is supposed to be a self-proclaimed friend, but our friend have given things to the Jewish community specifically for them. And here she is now doing something specifically for illegals. Illegals. And
I mean, like, that's just carrying on. Basically, I find that totally disrespectful. This isn't anything out the ordinary, you know, not even a little bit. So what I think, is that they're just making themselves look more and more like an ass, and the more they do for other communities, the worse it's gonna get, because we're coming back, we're not. If they think they got us, that we're gonna vote for them, Democratic, at the Democratic Party, we're not. And this would be like another thing on the list for why we don't go back. Just doing a legal fund for illegals is like, it's dumb. It's the dumbest shit ever. They don't do it for anybody else. They don't create legal funds for anyone else. You know what I mean? You got these bond initiatives, but they're not the same thing.
Joining me now is an alternate juror who was in the Sean Diddy Combs trial. George is joining us right now. This was 7 weeks of your life, hearing all of this testimony. You were an alternate. You did not deliberate, but did you agree with the final verdict?
I understood the final verdict, and I think because I took a copious amount of notes overall, like 350 pages worth of notes. Because at the end, we weren't told who was an alternate, who was the main juror until literally the last second when they were reading when the judge was reading his entire statement at the end. It was like, the first 12 are the jurors, the last 5 are the alternates. So we didn't know, even in the jury room, no one treated everyone, we all were equal because we didn't know who was who.
Would you have acquitted him on RICO?
I think reading all my notes and looking back at the evidence, I probably would have reached the same conclusion as the other jurors.
What was it about that charge?
I don't, the thing with the, because we were asked and the judge had instructed us that we have to find him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And I think there was always a little bit of doubt in people's mind. And I think it was a tough case to prove, especially the first one. And there was always a little bit of doubt there, even from the beginning.
Why did you doubt?
I think some of the charges, some of the witnesses, if you look at it one way, but then when you were listening to the defense, you could see it their way as well.
Were there any witnesses that made you think, I don't believe this?
There was one that I think, unanimously we kind of all said, like, wow. Like, it was almost like watching, like, TV. It was like, like when I think her name was Dawn Richard, that one. Mm-hmm. When she got cross-examination, it was very impressive.
What was it about it?
I think got into her and really made her, look very. I mean, I even wrote in my notebook that it was like a takedown.
Really? And that was pretty early on.
That was pretty early on.
From the opening statements, did you have a mindset of who you thought had a better case?
No. I think overall, from the way I look at it, both sides presented really good. Both sides presented themselves well. We were very impressed with the prosecution and the defense, how they, their professionalism, how they carried themselves. It was really good lawyering, as they say.
Racketeering is notoriously a complex case. Did you feel that the prosecution presented enough evidence to support that there was even an enterprise?
I think they did the best that they could, but I think it was a tough case to prove.
Why?
I mean, when you look at the charges, kidnapping, arson, forced labor, the government had one side, but then the defense, they had some pretty good rebuttals to it. So, I mean, that I think added some, doubt always, and I think in people's mind.
You didn't hear from some of the people the government said were co-conspirators, like employees,
like Christina Karam, and
for example, or D-Rock.
Yeah.
Did that affect your thoughts about the case?
I don't think so. No.
Would you have wanted to hear from them?
We always thought that maybe we would hear from them, but maybe we also understood maybe why they wouldn't be called.
Why?
Because maybe they didn't want to testify, or they wouldn't really be proving the case, or maybe it would be not advantageous to be called. So, but honestly, we were just waiting till the end, until when the judge gave his instructions and how to interpret the law. Because, I think everyone really didn't have anything made up, their mind made up or in any way. It was really, everyone was waiting to see how, the definitions and how everything was going to be interpreted and what they were to be looked at. Exactly.
So important.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the sex trafficking cases, because of court charges. Obviously, Cassie Ventura testified visibly pregnant for days.
Yes.
How did her testimony impact you in your understanding of the case?
It did. We listened. We listened very intently. It was, I think, 5 days or forever of thing, and it was very riveting. And it was very riveting testimony, and very credible testimony.
You believed her?
I mean, I think we did. I think we did. I mean, she wouldn't have done all this just to come up there and lie about everything. So no, I don't think even the defense didn't come out and say or anything like that.
Did the money that they talked about in terms of a civil settlement she received, did that color her testimony for you at all?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. No.
Did you look at the defendant, Diddy Combs, differently after her testimony?
No, I didn't really look at him too much. I mean, I always looked at him because my point of view was just literally at him, like some people were on the side, but I was more in the corner. So I was always staring at him. But I don't think he was mostly just very composed and talking with his lawyers and very in control. It seemed like, because I think I'm not really familiar too much with cases, and I don't really follow cases in court, so I don't know how defendants usually act. But sometimes what I've heard in from the news is that some defendants, they just sit very stoically. They don't interact with their lawyers. They just let their lawyers talk and go. But he was very, talking with them, writing notes, doing that. So you could tell that he was, he was fighting for himself.
You saw some very graphic images, videos. You heard very sexual and graphic details. What was that like, hearing that? And how did it impact how you viewed the case?
No, they were very graphic, and but I think overall, it was we were looking at it from one side, and it was definitely riveting and eye-opening.
What did you see on the videos? The press wasn't able to see it in real time.
Yeah. No, I mean, they were showing some of there was both the freak-offs and hotel nights, as they were called, from both of them. But it was...
what were they showing those videos?
They showed, the defense and the prosecution showed different clips, so they were very selective. The prosecution was showing more, just Cassie just sitting around.
The defense showed that?
Defense showed that, yeah.
Just her sitting around not engaging in sexual activity?
Yes.
The prosecution, when you had to have your headphones on and otherwise, what were you seeing then?
There was sexual activity, but I mean, it wasn't really.
Was it force?
No, it didn't. It didn't seem forced. It was actually pretty.
Really?
Yeah.
Did she?
It was just a lot of rubbing oil and stuff on there. It wasn't anything too graphic. I would say.
Let me ask you. This jury that deliberated did not find sex trafficking when it came to Cassie Ventura. They also didn't find it when it came to Jane. And I want to ask you about Jane in a moment. But did it surprise you when it came to Cassie Ventura that they did not convict on sex trafficking?
No, I don't. I think it was a difficult thing to prove, and I think there was always some doubt, whether, because I think what the judge says, it has to be forced. And I think the defense did show some messages where it didn't seem that it was forced.
Oh, her text messages when she talked about it.
Yeah.
That was really important to you to consider.
I think that was one aspect. Yes.
Did that make you feel that it was consensual?
It did seem like it. Yeah.
Talk to me about Jane.
Even in the videos and everything seemed very consensual.
Really?
Yeah.
How about with Jane? Obviously, she testified for several days, very emotional at times.
It was, yeah.
What did you think of her credibility? Did you believe her?
I think it was very again, riveting, long testimony, and I did believe her, at least on some parts. Some parts were a little bit didn't add up as much. Seemed a little strange.
What part seemed strange to you?
One part for me that seemed a little strange was the night, I think, when Jane was in, when they had the fight.
Yeah.
The timing seemed a little like you going from like one closet to another closet to something didn't add up there.
How about the impact when you heard that her rent was being paid or her lawyer is being paid by the defendant? Did that surprise you?
That was surprising, yeah, and it was that it was still being paid.
What did you think when you heard that?
Wow, it was surprising.
I want to ask you as well about, obviously I'm talking about Diddy as if I know him. Like we know his name because he's, this very famous person. Did the fact that he was so famous, did that impact you in any way? Did you know him?
No, I did not know him.
Did you know his music at all?
No, I didn't really listen to his music.
So seeing him was just a stranger.
Pretty much. I know of him, and I know, but I don't really follow his music or the rap industry in general. So that might have been why. I think a lot of the jurors, I think if you look at their backgrounds, I don't think they were. They didn't follow this or that. That's probably why they were chosen. I was never expected to be chosen, to be honest.
Yeah? Well,
I wasn't even looking for this at all.
Who would be, right?
Exactly.
But let me ask you, the other jurors, when you would talk to them, I know you weren't allowed to deliberate at all in this, but when you talked to them, were they familiar with who he was? Did his celebrity status seem to impact them at all?
No, I don't think so, no. I think everyone was really waiting for the interpretation of the law. And
is that because you were confused about the case or because you just wanted to know your marching orders?
I think we wanted to know our marching orders and how we need to look at everything. I think we were really, I think, at least for me, we want to be, and we are asked to be as impartial as possible. So we needed to know, you hear both sides of, one side, the other side. And it's very important to know what we're actually supposed to be, ruling at and how we're supposed to be looking at it from the judge.
There was a juror who was excused close to the end of the trial. What did you know about that and why?
We weren't told, what happened. I think someone had mentioned that it was, I think he lied about where he was from or something like that. But really we were kind of kept in like isolation from like the whole day. Not really told much, told to not, follow any news or turn off everything. Don't talk to anyone. Don't talk among yourselves about the case, which we followed. We really followed the judge's instructions. At least I did too.
So
I
when
can
that
only speak for
person,
myself
yeah,
most of
well,
the time.
when that person was no longer in the chair after seeing them there for 7 weeks on end, or however many weeks it was in at that point, did you think it was odd? Did you have concerns?
No. I mean, that's why they have, they call 18 people, because then they knew it was a long case, and there's probably going to be someone's going to get sick or someone's going to drop out. So that's why. So,
would you have wanted to hear Diddy testify? Would it have made a difference to you?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
It wouldn't have made a difference because it wouldn't have added to your understanding, or because you'd heard enough?
I think we heard enough. I don't know if it would have helped or hindered. I haven't really thought about that as much.
Yeah.
But I think it was really helpful, again, in the end, at least for what we were looking forward to, what I was looking forward to the most, was just the 61-page judge instructions of how we're supposed to be charged the law.
They did find him guilty of those transportation to engage in prostitution charges. The prosecution was being very sarcastic and laughing at the idea that these men were just being paid for their time. How did you see that statement?
You mean the defense?
Mm-hmm. Well, the prosecution said that, well, yes, you're right. The defense said that they were being paid for the time. The prosecution was mocking that. Who did you believe?
No, I think the evidence to show that there was the transportation of prostitution, I think was overwhelming, and that's why the jury found them guilty on those two counts.
If you had been,
because the prosecution, not only they showed the hotel records, the bank records, the flight information. For that, I think that they proved their case beyond a reasonable doubt.
If for some reason you were to ever talk to Diddy, what would you tell him about how you saw this trial?
To be honest, I really wouldn't want to talk to him or anyone associated with that. I just wanted to kind of tell my side of the story, but I really wouldn't want to, associate with him or any of the people that are with him.
Can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
And it's about the video from the Intercontinental Hotel that you saw a lot.
Yeah, it was.
Was it a? Did you see
it? Sometimes they did it like frame by frame by frame.
What did you think of that? Did you see it enough? Too much? Too little? What?
I mean, it was a very bad video. I think they showed it. I think they showed it enough. I mean, they tried to show it both sides, and
did it make a difference to you in the actual charges that you would have had to deliberate over? Because he wasn't charged with.
He wasn't charged with domestic violence. No.
Did that surprise you?
No, because I don't think domestic violence is a federal crime. So.
Did it cloud the way you saw the rest of the charges by seeing that video?
No, I think we looked at just what we were supposed to be, what the judge had said we were supposed to look at, and then based off of the evidence that was presented to us, they ruled in that way.
Do you think he should go to prison?
That's for the judge to decide. I mean, he was found guilty on both counts. So we're the sentencing is not up to us. Mm-hmm. It's not up to me. It's up to the judge, who was we were all impressed with the judge and how he was. So that the jury, I can't speak for the jury because I was an alternate, mm-hmm. but I think we all really much liked the judge on this case. We found him to be very fair, very stern. He was no nonsense, but the way he conducted himself, at least from what we saw, because again, we only saw the beginning let's
see where this goes.
Doug, you were inside of that courtroom when this verdict was read. This has been something that you have been representing Cassie Ventura for well over a year. A lot at stake here. Yes, for Sean Combs, but for Cassie Ventura. What were you feeling when you were inside that courtroom?
Well, I think there was a lot of mixed emotions in the courtroom, generally speaking. Obviously, we would have liked to have seen convictions on the RICO charges and the sex trafficking charges, but Cassie prompted this investigation by the Southern District, and now Sean Combs stands before the court as a convicted felon of 2 federal crimes. He faces significant incarceration. Not the exact outcome that we wanted, but we are grateful to the jury for finding a guilty verdict on those 2 federal crimes.
I want to get back to what you were just talking about, but first I have to ask you, have you had the chance to speak with Cassie?
I have, yeah. So I had an opportunity to speak with her, as did the government prosecution team. She's of the same view. Back in November of 2023, Cassie had a choice. She could accept an 8-figure settlement offer and move on with her life and sign non-disclosure agreements, or she could file a civil lawsuit and hold Sean Combs responsible for what he did to her and shine a light on his behavior. She showed great courage, great bravery to choose the latter of those 2 options. She turned away the money at first. Ultimately, the case settled the day after. And she went through a year-long process of preparing for this trial. I thought, and I think people who saw her testify, she was a great witness. She was graceful. She shined a light on this. Jane read the complaint. She came forward. Many other people have come forward, are going to be seeking to hold Sean Combs responsible in the civil courts. And so it's not all lost. He's now, as I said, he's never been held responsible for anything in his lifetime. He was acquitted on charges when he was in New York with a gun case. And now he is a 2-time convicted felon, 2 federal charges. The government indicated after the jury verdict was read that they're going to be seeking consecutive terms, and they're going to be seeking lengthy prison incarceration. And so Cassie was comforted in knowing that not only has she played a role in the criminal prosecution, but that she has shined a light on this behavior by Sean Combs, and many other people have come forward, not only about him, but about other people in the entertainment world as well.
Now, I want to go back to something you said, which is when she filed that civil suit in November 2023, that this is really what started it all. And it really is in the civil sense, but also in the criminal sense. In this trial, and I was in the courtroom for most of the days, we heard both the defense and the prosecution say that this investigation, this federal investigation, began because of Cassie Ventura. How does that weigh on her to realize that Sean Combs would not have even been in a courtroom if not for her?
Well, I think it's given her some agency in life, where for 10 years, he told her what had to be done and she had no choice. This was her ability to say, no, I'm not going to accept this 8-figure settlement. I'm going to file this lawsuit. And that's what she did. And so she is really gratified in knowing that other people have come out since the filing of the civil lawsuit, and that you're correct. As far as I know, there was no pending investigation into Sean Combs prior to her filing the civil lawsuit. We were contacted very soon after we filed, and this investigation ensued. And the team, the prosecution team, I thought did an excellent job. Again, not the outcome I'm sure that they wanted. They didn't get the top counts, but they at least were able to secure 2 convictions of 2 federal felony charges.
Now, you mentioned the settlement, which, as you are saying right here, that Cassie had 2 choices, which was take the money, sign an NDA, or file a civil suit. She chose to file the civil suit. Now, she did reach settlement within 24 hours. It was very quick, but this was after civil suit, after all of her bombshell allegations were out in the world. And yet, in this trial, the defense seized on money, not just for Cassie, but also for Jane. The defense, and this is not a direct quote, I'm summarizing, but Mark Agnifilo, in his closing, he said, Cassie Ventura is the winner here. He called her the winner. He said she's sitting somewhere in the world with $30 million. She's not naive like the prosecutors are telling you. She knew exactly what she was doing, and she's the winner. How did that make you feel and her feel to use the word winner when the jury and the world, by the way, has seen her being horrifically beaten on camera?
Yeah, I mean, thanks to your great reporting and the video that saw the light of day, obviously Cassie Ventura at that point in time and today is not the winner. She endured 10 years of abuse where she had to engage in days-long sexual acts with UTIs. She alleged that she was raped. And so to call her a winner, even though she did get $30 million, part from, as she testified, part from Sean Combs, part from the hotel, no amount of money is going to ever undo what she had to endure and what she had to go through. So I think both she and I didn't really take well to that as her being a winner. And frankly, the fact of the matter is that when she testified, she had already been paid the $30 million. So she had no vested interest in anything other than telling the truth on that witness stand. And while the jury did not convict on the sex trafficking charge, I mean, I think it's important for your viewers to know, in the criminal justice system, the standard is very high. It's beyond a reasonable doubt. The civil justice system is very different. It's a preponderance of the evidence, more likely than not. So it is a very high burden. The jury found that the government did not meet that burden, but that doesn't mean that what she said isn't true.
Mm-hmm. Now, his defense during their closing also called Cassie and Combs' relationship, and again, this is not a direct quote, but a great modern love story. How did she feel when she heard that? And I'm curious, has she been following all of the testimony? Because she was one of the first witnesses. She was on the stand for 4 days talking about what she says happened to her. Cassie, as we all know, is now a new mother of 3. She was on that witness stand when she was very pregnant, 8.5 months pregnant. Has she just been focused on family, or has she been following this? And how difficult has it been if she has been following?
Yeah, so, I mean, she is primarily and has been focused on her family. She did testify when she was 8 months pregnant, and she is really trying to look forward. And when I gave my statement after her testimony, I made very clear that she was looking forward. She did not want to think about the case any longer. She had given her testimony and now wanted to just concentrate on her family. And she's done that. I mean, obviously, it's almost impossible not to see some of the media about the case. And so she has seen some of that. I can tell you that some of the comments that were made in the closing argument, I thought were repugnant, frankly. Calling those sorts of behaviors as a modern day relationship, saying that she enjoyed sex, saying she was a gangster, things like that. I don't think even with the jury verdict that they would have given that any credit. And I don't think anyone who actually listened to the testimony and watched the testimony would either. And I thought that those were sort of gratuitous comments that really weren't based on any real fact.
After Cassie filed her civil lawsuit in November 2023, since there has been roughly 70 suits that have been filed against Sean Combs. He denies all of these allegations, but the allegations coming from women, men, minors over the course of decades, egregious accusations of people being drugged at auditions, being drugged at his infamous white parties, not remembering a single thing after they were handed a drink, and then being sexually assaulted. Given that none of these suits had come out prior to Cassie filing that lawsuit, does she feel like she has made a difference and like she is shining a light on not just the abuse that she alleged of Sean Combs, but for survivors around the world?
Yeah, definitely. And that was one of her major objectives, frankly, when she rejected an 8-figure settlement, was not only to shine a light, but to give a voice to others who were suffering in silence. And she knew that there were others out there. And so to now see, as reported, numbers in the 50, 60, 70 or more allegations or lawsuits, I think that she's been vindicated in what she did. So many people would never have chosen that path. If you've got 2 paths, one is to take an 8-figure settlement and move on with your life versus taking the other path of rejecting it, and you might not see a penny, but you actually get to go public and shine a light on what happened, and maybe others come forward. She should really be applauded for what she did.
And as I said, the National Domestic Violence Hotline, I had asked them for some reporting if they had seen an influx of calls after Cassie came forward, and they had. The numbers really spiked. She spoke directly to survivors of domestic violence. When she posted on her Instagram, she thanked everyone, and she said that domestic violence is the problem. Has she been hearing from different survivors ever since she came forward?
A lot of the different organizations that support sex trafficking, that wouldn't have necessarily have helped those other plaintiffs, because most likely that sort of evidence would have been excluded from those civil trials anyway. So, net, he definitely faces a substantial prison term. And I do believe he's going to be serving years, plural. It would be very difficult for me to gauge how many years, though.
Cassie took the stand for 4 days, and she testified about what, quite frankly, are some of the most embarrassing and traumatic moments of her life, things that she may have wanted to go to the grave with had it not been for testifying in this trial. How difficult was that for her, or was it cathartic in some sense?
I think it was both. It was both. It was very difficult, and it was cathartic. If you were in the courtroom and you observed her, I mean, she just answered the questions, I thought, in a very graceful, and I think I'm trying to speak as objectively as possible, I thought, in a forthright manner. I don't believe that the jury disbelieved her in reaching its conclusion. I think the jury ultimately found that the government hadn't met its burden beyond a reasonable doubt under a very complex and difficult statute. And, when you think of sex trafficking, sometimes, people conjure images of, minors and bringing people in from other countries and things like that, and not this sort of behavior, which technically, could be argued as sex trafficking. But I think that she, when she filed the civil complaint, she, knew that a lot of this would become public. She didn't know at the time that the government would investigate it. But as that process and her preparations for trial ensued, she knew that she would be asked some very personal, detailed questions that she was prepared to do. She knew that she had to do it because she was vested in the process, and she put a lot of time and effort into it.
Was there ever a consideration that she wouldn't do this? When the government began investigating her claims and asked her to testify, did she ever say, I don't want to put myself
There were a lot of times, yeah, Elizabeth. I mean, I think that it was a roller coaster at times. There were certainly days where she didn't want to testify. And that's natural. I mean, it's a lot that the government was asking of her, and she ultimately did what they wanted her to do. She testified truthfully, but just having to subject yourself to cross-examination, and then ultimately, when you're done, have a lawyer say the sorts of things that were said in the closing argument about her. That's not easy for anyone to endure, which is why I hold her in such high esteem.
Now, she has what appears to be a great support system around her. Her husband, Alex Fine, was in that courtroom during her testimony. I cannot imagine what that was like for him, to hear about your wife, the mother of your children who you love so deeply, going through these horrific moments of abuse and torment that she spoke about. What was that like for Alex?
Yeah, very hard. I mean, he is her number one supporter and backer, and he really has helped change her life tremendously. When Cassie was ready to take her own life, obviously, she testified about wanting to just walk into oncoming traffic, and Alex obviously was there to help her. So, having him at her side has been enormously helpful for her and her parents. And she has some great other professional people helping her as well. One of whom was at the trial for the period of time that she testified, and which she's been a really great facilitator. I'm happy to say that she works at Mount Sinai, Savvy, S-A-V-I. It's a great organization that helps victims cope with the sort of abuse that Cassie was coping with.
Mm-hmm. She spoke about that on the stand. She said that she has been in therapy. Is this something that she ever can fully heal from, or will these 10, 11 years always be part of her life?
I think it'll always be part of her life, unfortunately. I mean, you can heal, but you'll never forget. And she's in a much better place now, obviously, than she was 2 years ago. Going through drug rehabilitation and being sober and clean for as long now as she has really helped in that effort. But the abuse that she suffered, that's something that one doesn't forget. And you watch the video, for instance, which isn't isolated. The video obviously is isolated, but that was not an isolated event. Anyone who goes through that sort of abuse, it's impossible to ever forget it. But hopefully, over time, she'll move on. She has been compensated. And so, financially, she's in a good position, which certainly helps. But she's not, the winner, as the defense lawyer said. It's hard to call somebody a winner who has been physically abused for years and years and years, and who is willing to give up her own life to call that person a winner.
I mean, based on her testimony, for 10 years of her life or close to it, every week for half the week, she was in a dark hotel room with a strange man that she did not know. Again, according to her testimony, being forced into these sex acts. And as you said, that video from that hotel was not isolated. The jury, and really the world for the first time, heard about the scope of this violence that Cassie said that she endured. We saw photos. We heard her mom, Regina, talk on the stand about how she took photos of her daughter's body with those bruises. It's really it's unimaginable to think about what she went through.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone who hasn't actually endured what she endured, which there aren't many people who have, it would be impossible for me or for you or for anyone for that matter to put yourself, in that place and to sort of think about sort of where she is mentally. But she's a strong person, and it takes a strong person with a lot of courage to do what she did. There aren't many people who would have chosen the path of filing a lawsuit and rejecting an 8-figure settlement that was right in front of her, just for the greater good. And history, I think, will show when we look back at this. History will be kind to Cassie Ventura, rightfully so, because of what she did. For the many people who have now come out with allegations against Sean Combs, for holding him responsible and now making him a 2-time felon of federal crimes. She should be applauded.
Mm-hmm. And this investigation did not begin until she filed her suit. Now we know that she cooperated with authorities in handing over evidence that she had. We know that from the trial. Right. Is it safe to say that none of this would have ever happened without your client?
I mean, from what I know, I think it's safe to say. Obviously, I'm not privy to what the government was looking at, if anything, prior to November of 2023. But it seems logical that she did prompt this. But it's entirely possible as well that they had an eye on him. Let's not forget, there were so many other people in this orbit. He had been prosecuted by the Manhattan DA's office before. And so it's possible.
Mm-hmm. And as you said, not the outcome that you were necessarily hoping for, but for Sean Combs to be even in a courtroom on trial for someone at his stature is extraordinary. Now to be convicted on 2 charges, he may not be serving life in prison, but he will still serve time on 2 very serious federal charges. Sean Combs will never be the same. He will never be the Diddy or the Puff that everybody knew. Even if the jury did not convict him on the most serious charges, you believe that they believed Cassie's story. Do you think that he can ever operate in this world how he did, that he'll be a superstar, that he'll be having these parties? And I'm talking about after he serves this time. Or do you believe that based on the courage of your client coming forward, that things will never be the same?
I don't think things will ever be the same. Of course, there are Sean Combs supporters who have supported him from the beginning of this trial to the end, and they will continue to support him, I'm sure. But I don't think that he's going to go on in his sort of business world as this sort of mega star that he once was. The bottom line is that the facts are the facts, and there were a lot of facts that came out at this trial that were not even controverted. Some of which the defense were very clear to say this case is not about domestic violence. We own that.
It was actually their defense. Their defense was, you probably won't think he's a good guy. He's done indefensible things.
Yeah. And so to be someone who engages in domestic violence at their own admission, I think appropriately so, is not someone that our society should be embracing.
Mm-hmm. And Combs, when the verdict was read shortly after, he was being ushered out by the marshals because he is, of course, being held in custody. He knelt down. It seemed like he was praying. His family was cheering. His defense was crying. Yes, they evaded the most serious charges, but do you believe that they should be taking a victory lap right now?
For the reasons of what I just said about him engaging in this, pattern of violence, which was not controverted, which was actually they indicated it was true. I think victory laps are inappropriate, frankly. There are no winners and losers at all, regardless of the outcome of this trial. It's a really sad statement about what transpired, whether he was guilty or not guilty. Putting that aside, the things that came out at this trial are really deeply troubling, and I hope he does get the right help, that he is somehow able to be clean and sober and turns over a new leaf. But I think the clearest indication that is not going to happen is that when he was under investigation, he knew he was under investigation. He continued, according to Jane's testimony, in the same types of behaviors. And this is while he was under investigation by the federal government. Now that he has been acquitted of sex trafficking and RICO violations after he serves his time on the charges which he was convicted for, it's hard for me to believe that he'll be a new man. But I hope for his sake.
They're trying to give him everything in the kitchen sink, you know what I mean?
The evidence was weak. It wasn't a strong case. It was a strong case in the media and all the pundits who wanted to say he's a woman beater. That doesn't equal a RICO charge.
This verdict really just goes to show how much women are really, truly not believed.
If numbers don't lie, it was 36-0. 36-0.
Some even went as far as suggesting you must have been on the Diddy payroll. Would you like to clear that up?
I am not on the Diddy payroll. This was just my honest experience.
When you've run with certain people and you know what they could be capable of, then you know you might be in clear and present danger.
The legal system, they want to get their hunk. They can't walk away. They're already disgraced. They don't want to walk away totally disgraced.
After several weeks of revelations and a case that's shaken the showbiz world, Sean Diddy Combs has been found not guilty of racketeering and not guilty of sex trafficking his ex-partner Cassie Ventura, another woman referred to only as Jane. The jury did find him guilty on 2 counts, both of transportation to engage in prostitution, related to those same 2 women. Well, the verdicts have come as much of a bombshell as the case itself. We have an all-star panel of opinionated insiders and legal experts to explain what it all means and what happens next. In a moment, I'll talk to Young Jock and Sammy the Bull, and I'll talk to the Punisher, whose evidence appears to have been pivotal in this trial. But we begin with our legal panelists, Bruce Rivers, the criminal defense attorney who's covered the Diddy trial fastidiously on his popular YouTube channel, Suge Knight's former attorney, Matthew Fletcher, who's repeatedly questioned the strength of the prosecution's case, and Ariel Mitchell-Kidd, a lawyer who's represented other women who claim to have been Diddy's victims. Well, welcome to all of you. Matthew Fletcher, let me start with you, because you've been very clear with me in the many times you've appeared on Uncensored during this case that you believed they were not going to get convictions on the more serious charges. And what is fascinating about that, A, that you've been proven right, of course, but also that in the Southern District of New York, the success rate for federal prosecutors is 93%. You know, they hardly ever fail. So just why do you think here, I mean, it's being billed as Diddy beats the feds. Obviously, he's not completely beaten them, but he's only been found guilty of the least serious charges. Why do you think that has happened?
Because the evidence was weak. I've said from the very beginning. I've got over 100 jury trials. I did this for 23 years. All I do is trial consulting now. I can spot a bad case a mile away. And the first witness in this case, from the first witness in this case on, this was always about the government saying he's a bad person, which he is. He's a horrible, rotten woman beater. And as I told you last time, Agnifilo is going to get up there and say, convict him of every single count of domestic violence. But there aren't any counts of domestic violence. He did that. I told you before that they were going to sit there and say that these women enjoyed this. There was no coercion. There was no duress. And to show that one video of what happened years ago, that's what they built their entire case on. And it's horrible, but he wasn't charged with that. Racketeering, RICO is meant for particular vices, and those vices don't include shipping in prostitutes, and unfortunately they don't also include beating your wife or your girlfriend. That's what he was. He's a wife beater, a girlfriend beater. He was never should have been charged with this, never close. All the people who were wringing their
to create for a husband.
Well, Sheree Hayes rejoins me now. Welcome back to Uncensored, Sheree. I really felt after the interview that we did, which followed you giving evidence, that you were a very powerful cog, I think, in the wheel for the defense of Diddy, because you spoke very openly, very honestly, I felt, and you made it crystal clear that from everything you had observed over 18 months, 2 years, you've never seen anything which you felt was non-consensual. And it seems that has been the conclusion that the jury has reached. Not that women were not taken across state lines, which is obviously illegal if they're prostitutes, but that, men as well, but that actually that is the only thing which was wrong here, that actually there was no coercion or trafficking or people being made to do things against their will.
Yeah, I mean, that was my experience. Me taking a stand, I wanted to just be completely honest with the facts of what went on. And, something I will say is, as this went on over the course of 2.5 years, and I would have very personable one-on-one interaction with Kathy prior to the activity, and then also at the conclusion of the activity. And it was always good-spirited, good vibe, no indication that there was any issues, or not even any indication of being the slightest intoxicated, under the influence of any drugs or substances. And it was always a pleasant scenario that I told you I walked away with, actually feeling as like a positive thing that I was even involved. So everything threw me off with the allegations. I can only speak from my specific experience, but none of it never really added up to me.
So are you? I mean, what's your response to the verdict?
I thought the verdict was what it was supposed to be. This is domestic violence. If you want to talk about domestic violence and his behavior in those situations, that's a different subject. But when you look at a 10-year relationship and mutual text messages expressing love and care, and at multiple points, excitement about the sexual activity, to then say, okay, I'm going to signal out a couple of instances and make it a crime, always to me was a stretch.
Do you feel, we were talking about it earlier, that there might be a changing mood about these kind of cases, that at the height of Me Too, there was a kind of frenzy, and, some very bad men clearly got the punishment they deserved. Others, many people felt there was a massive overreach. And a lot of those cases, which were messier, involved cases where there was lots of evidence after the alleged crime or claimed crime, that everything was still very friendly, consensual, loving, and so on. Do you think that juries now maybe are less willing to convict people when that kind of evidence comes out than they may have been, say, 3-4 years ago?
I do. I think initially, because there was such a strong movement, right, and all of these cases out of and there was a neglect over years of women being hurt, and that was a real thing. But now, because there's so many scenarios of financial gain and a monetary gain based on these circumstances, the majority of these cases are filed civilly before they're filed criminally, right? And so I think it is just responsible, right, to look at these things in totality, especially in a case like this where you have people in a long-standing, loving on Cassie. How could you urinate on Cassie? So there is a negative aspect that I just have to maneuver through. But hey, look, where are some of our choices? This was a choice. This was a decision I made, and I'm just dealing with it. Trying to make the most of it to whatever degree I can.
You had barely any interaction whatsoever with Diddy in the entire time that you were part of their world. What are your feelings about him now that we know what he's been convicted of, and he's likely to face a prison sentence for some time? We don't know how long that will be, but it could be up to 10 years. It's very unlikely, but he certainly will go to prison for a lot longer than he's currently served. What are your feelings about him?
I really think I look at this situation with Mr. Combs similar that you see with a lot of people who are in very powerful positions for long periods. If they don't have a good circle of someone that can actually give them an opinion, a strong opinion, adversely, hear no, hear, listen, you shouldn't be doing this. A lot of these people do escalate to behaviors that push the limit. And I think this is a excellent wake-up call for him, because I'm sure he's looking at his own behaviors and his own histories, and he's rethinking a lot of things. And I'm sure he'll be a better person going forward for it. But
all right, that's enough of that. We'll pick this back up another time, family. Thank you for watching The Revolutionary Agenda and staying up with me. I hope you got a lot out of everything that we went through, we showed. And yeah, thank you. But I have to get off the computer now so that Jesse can do what he needs to do. Yes, Kyle, we've been here for a minute. Been here for a good little chunk of change. So thanks for hanging out with me. It's hard to say when I'll be back, but I should be back sometime by the end of the week or whatever. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. For watching on Frontline Black News. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, and see each other soon. Stay black, stay dangerous, and stay out the way.